FM or at WFUV.org.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages. It is time for another episode of One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show here on WFUV Sports. There's a bit of buzz in the air as we're past the MLB trade deadline, getting towards football season, everyone's favorite time of year. In sports, it's the fall. I am Barrett Spritzer, joined by Chris Carrino to my left and Tucker Austin to my right. Griffin Stevenson's on the board, and Joe Henry's got the graphics for you all day today. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
What a crew.
It is.
What a crew we got today.
All-star, some might say.
Oh, yeah, some would say. And I can't believe you just said it's fall. It's August 2nd.
We're getting into fall football. College
That's
football.
such a Texas thing.
College football is fall.
So
to be
Texas
fair,
of you.
an NFL game was played on Thursday.
Would anyone say that football season is that the fall is not football season?
Fall is certainly football season.
So-
You're generalizing to a major degree.
Yeah, well,
But football starts in summer. Can we
Seasons don't
at least
seasons
buy
don't
it starts in
exist.
If
summer?
we're less than a month either way, before or after 4th of July, you just cannot call it fall.
no, but
Or another season other than summer.
I track seasons based off the sport being played. Summer is baseball, football is fall. I guess I don't really care about the NBA, but spring is the NBA.
And it's good. First of
It
all,
is
it's-
winter.
First of all, it's good to be here. I haven't been on in a long time. It's been a while since I've been on one-on-one. Genuinely, I think my favorite thing to do here at the station, the long-form sports talk, so much fun. And obviously, as you guys said, a fantastic crew. Barrett, I haven't seen you in a while either.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while. Barrett was abroad, over the pond for the semester, last semester. And the last time I think the three of us were together is when we covered Heisman in the winter.
Yep.
That's
all three
season.
of us in the same room.
Yes,
I
that
think it was
yes.
Heisman.
No, that's
Or-
still fall because it was college football season.
Actually, I'll do you one better. The last time we were all in the same room was actually this room when we did the Heisman recap.
Yes, and
But-
Tucker
Yeah, point stands.
and point stands. Also, since then, Tucker, you are an assistant manager alongside Griffin Stevenson as well. You've
True. Hit a little changeover and
made
Moving
some
up in the
headway.
world. Moving up. in the world.
While this guy was over in Europe, you were here grinding, and you've put yourself in quite a position. So just in general, fantastic to be here, and just all these sort of environments get me even more excited for next year as well, because this will be the kind of crew doing a lot of the things, along with you guys and everyone in the back. So a lot of excitement around this time of year, and specifically with this show, as you said, so much stuff going on.
Yeah, clearly evidence to not take vacations.
No.
I go to London.
I don't know. Vacation
And
is a little bit of a.
He stays here, and all of a sudden he's the number 2 guy. I go to London, and
Yeah.
I'm just some schlub.
Shout out Griffin, the other assistant manager.
I was being facetious with vacation. You were working. You were going to school. I'm sure that you were dialed in on
Sure.
your studies for 5 months, 6 months. You and our other peer, Max Spitzer. Shout out
He
Max.
wasn't.
Shout out Max. Well, want to expand on that?
No comment.
Okay,
no
all right, no
comment.
comment, no comment. And since you guys were gone, we could touch on it very briefly, but I think the two of you are both out of a job as well.
Yep, I know.
What's up with that? You want to expand
Just
briefly?
devastating news.
I saw a rental sign.
myself and the infamous Max Spitzer were lovely staff members of the high-end establishment Mug Sports Bar.
Yes, one of the very beloved staff members.
One of the staples of
yes.
one of the staples of the Bronx, one of the staples of Fordham lore, is sadly no longer with us. The bar, not Max, he's still with us. The bar
thank
is no
God.
longer with
Thank
us, and as such, we have sadly lost the prestigious position of bartender. And you gotta just pour one out next time. Next time you got something to pour out, but otherwise, you just gotta keep it moving.
And I'll stop with the questions after this. Have you and Max thought about maybe taking this space on, maybe doing something of your own?
It was definitely it was a thought.
Dude, let's
However,
open a bar.
I was about to say, yeah. Puzzles. Why is it called puzzles? That's the puzzle.
So
I got you, Tucker.
I'm not-
Tucker, I'm with you.
I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with the Blue Goose. over on
Yes,
Hoffman.
very, very much so. The new taco place is fantastic.
Yes.
Joe
so,
Henry, what were the? Can we get Joe Henry on a mic and ask him his? He was in there with his roommates last week. Can we
Did
get
you
him
not
on
go? Did you not go?
I didn't eat.
What, you just showed up?
It goes to a
look at it?
whole. I have a weird palate. But can we get?
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get Joe Henry on the Griff mic or no?
there's a way. I think there's a way.
Anyway, we'll wait on that. But it does go on. Blue Goose, a staple of the Fordham community before its departure, right before we got here. I
Yes,
think.
sadly, it did decide to leave this world shortly before we joined it.
Interesting way of saying that.
However, myself and Mr. Spitzer have had in-depth conversations about potentially taking out a loan to reopen it. Nothing ever materialized.
So the talks are happening, though.
Talks have been happening for years. Nothing ever materialized out of that. However,
And it seems like prime location.
it does. However, if we were able to bring mugs back,
I don't know. The sign's gone. That seems like a point of no return.
The stories they would tell about us, though, we would be just in the rafters.
You might need
we might get our names retired in the historic Rose Hill Gymnasium if we brought mugs.
You might
back.
get buildings named after you.
We might
Like,
without donating any money.
This is big moves.
Yeah, we have Joe Henry. Joe Henry, can we get a review on the Blue Goose replacement, the new taco joint on Hoffman Street?
Supreme Tacos, I think it's called.
Yeah, Supreme. Is it Supreme? Can we get
Supreme
a
Tacos.
confirmation from Henry? Does he think we can hear him?
I don't. Yeah,
we're
maybe.
gonna have to check the levels back there on
Yeah.
that one, or maybe we just make sure the mic's
He's
turned on.
he's faint.
He might be using the wrong mic too.
He's still going as well. Which I'm a little. Does he not hear us? Can he not hear us?
No, I think that's.
Well,
I'm actually not sure.
it's possible. Oh, we got Griffin.
Oh.
Maybe I don't know.
Almost.
Something's going on.
We're killing it over here. I don't know.
Way to go,
Again,
Chris.
this is more.
Chris, you try to go outside the box. You
I
try to
know.
bring
Yeah.
the video producer into
See,
things, and everything goes
you
haywire.
hear
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Okay, so we have some news. The mics in the booth maybe not working super well. We might hear from them later for a taco review. Might not. This is what happens when you go off script.
Maybe in our
Something-
final segment we'll throw in a taco review from Joe somehow. We'll get him in studio.
I'm
we'll
sure
figure it out.
I'm sure we'll have some space.
Yeah,
sometime
I didn't
in the
mean
show
to go.
hear a taco
I just
review.
but
Deal,
from
just-
Oh, he's coming in.
Hey,
Oh
no, it's Joe Henry.
Joe is in the studio. You want this mic, Joe?
I just need to.
Joe Henry,
taco review,
the
'cause
boss.
People need to know. It's right next to where I live right now, so that's interesting.
Can you confirm the name?
Taco Supreme.
Okay, so
Yeah.
That's a
Got it.
menu item at Taco Bell.
go on.
They got. I got the birria. It was a 7.5. It was pretty solid.
And what is that? Can
uh,
you describe to the audience what that is?
Birria or a
A
7.5?
birria.
Oh,
Maybe
well,
both.
most people do know what that is, but you're Chris Carrino.
Barrett, what's a
It's,
birria?
Well, you see, it's like a. I'll let Joe. take
Thank
it.
you.
It's,
Thank you.
All I know is birria is good. I just eat it. I don't really take into account what's in it.
It's shredded beef marinated in this sauce of like
Lard.
beef.
It's usually like
Yeah.
lard and like spices that
And
they
then,
marinate for like
put it
usually
in
a day.
a taco with
'Kay.
onions and cilantro, some spices, and then you dip it back into that sauce as you eat it. It's smacking, as the kids say.
And what did your friends have anything of note, or it went?
I don't ask other people about their food. I just mind my own business.
That's
so
a good.
So it went untalked about at the lunch. We didn't
If
discuss
it was
we
up to
liked
me and
it.
everyone knows this, I would eat every meal alone.
Really? Can
I
we
love that
expand
take. I love
on
that
that a
take.
little bit?
You know, when you eat,
You have siblings, right? You're not an only child.
I have a sibling and a half.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Griffin would like to say that he fully agrees with you.
It's
Okay.
just sometimes you need YouTube, you need the TV, you need the sports. You don't want the talk.
Some people would say that is a side effect of the iPad kid generation, needing YouTube to eat food.
And is that a bad thing?
And I don't want to go on for this forever,
Nah, you know.
obviously, but YouTube. We have lunch in front of us. We have.
Griffin has made a great point. YouTube is to us as the medieval court jester was to the king.
Okay.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm here.
You sit down at your place at noon. You have a lunch you just got from your walk back from home.
Yeah.
You have 1 o'clock. You got stuff going on. You have an
Yeah.
hour window.
An
We
hour
go on
window.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Whether it's the homepage or what we're searching, what are we watching? Like, what's the? And if it's
Well-
not something specific, just you can give us a couple things.
I can give you a couple.
I know Cody Ko dominated this market for a long time, but he is since been in hot water. Who leads this group now?
So I yesterday I had an hour of free time at Mets before first pitch. I finished my food review. I finished all my pregame editing, whatever. So I watched a basement yard compilation.
Got it.
Those guys
funny
are pretty
guys.
funny.
Very funny guys.
I'll watch Curb Your Enthusiasm clips.
Okay.
Love that.
And where are we consuming those on YouTube?
Usually that's a reel.
Okay, that's a reel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
From the feed, or are we searching those out?
From the feed.
Got it.
I'm not a search guy. I
Okay,
don't search.
you're not a search guy, so you're perusing Instagram reels with possibility of maybe coming across some brain rot, some other things, but no.
Not a brain rot.
Well,
guy.
since last weekend, maybe
A
not.
little bit. Bobby, give us a.
Is Bobby?
Bobby, you know what
I
to
think
say
Bobby
back there.
departed. I think I saw Bobby walk away. Griffin, can we get
yeah, he could not listen to whatever this is any longer.
But yes, after last weekend, Cooperstown, me and Joe were there. A lot of brain rot, specifically from Owen Keldy and Brendan Shorey, and I think it indoctrinated our boss here, Joe Henry. He has not stopped saying things we all do in 6-7. I think for the last 5 days.
I think this is the second show in a row where someone has now said the word brain rot. Because last week I said it about Aaron Boone's answers in press conferences.
Wait, we can't
Joe is trying to sneak out.
And Joe's trying to sneak out.
Well, how are you not done with Joe yet?
A final kind of talking point to Joe. Leaving Cooperstown last week, because I don't know how much we're gonna have you on past this. Just a few minutes here. What was the one thing when you think about as you get older with the future generations, whether it's your kids or nieces or nephews? What is one moment from last weekend that you will rescind back to them, a talking point back to them from Cooperstown?
It kind of sounds like you have a specific moment in mind.
I do for Joe, but I know as a Red Sox fan, I know Joe might not agree with me.
Yeah.
Because Joe did get to ask CC Sabathia a question post-ceremony.
That's not at all where my head goes.
I
It's
know.
like,
That's what I
talked to
mean.
a
That's
guy.
why this is an interesting conversation.
Couple of them are stories from our boss, Bobby,
Right.
that I wouldn't be able to tell the airwaves or be able to tell my children until they're 18.
Yes.
But like family friendly, which I know that might be a trigger term for you, Chris Carrino. It would be when we were playing wiffle ball and a 5-year-old named Frankie walked up and just started watching.
That's it.
And Chris was not happy that Frankie
not
wanted
happy.
in. He was not happy.
I was-
Don't say you were happy.
I was more not happy at the negligence of the parents. We were playing wiffle ball.
Okay.
They were within 10 feet of us. We're all a lot older. I'm not saying that any of us have any power. We're not. None of us are.
I don't know. Joe is kind of in charge of the station here.
He's
got a little bit of power.
That was good. That was good. Very funny, Barrett. But that was good stuff. But I was just more mad at I'm not mad at the kids. I've
He's
been
still
that
animated.
kid.
He's still go.
How dare that kid be curious?
Joe, thank you as always.
With Joe's
LFA.
departure.
Let it be known, Chris does not like little kids
I
who
don't like
baseball.
kids. I don't like children.
How dare kids try to enjoy a game
Just
just
kidding.
as much as the adults are? But with Joe's departure here from the studio, we're probably gonna end up. We're gonna just.
Seemed like a good
We're
place
gonna
to
move
wrap
on.
it.
It seems like a good place to wrap that up. Just a quick rundown of what we got for you. So we do have actual sports today.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there
That's
are
good.
actual sports that we'll talk about. After this next break, we will have Yankees. We'll have Mets. We'll talk a little bit of MLB trade deadline, general thoughts, big trades, big moves. And then we get into football, a little bit of football. We got the Hall of Fame game and just kind of general football thoughts in general. That's a good way to sum that up.
Mhm.
Giants,
very
general way.
Thank you.
Come on, Doug.
Just-
come
yeah.
on.
To leave it general, yeah. And then we'll have Giants, we'll have Jets, and we'll wrap it up with a little bit of WNBA talk. And maybe if y'all are good, we'll give you a little bit of treat at the end.
Whoa.
Give you a little Mount Rushmore to close it off.
Hey now.
If you behave yourself. But right now, we're going to send it to break, and we've got Yankees on the other side.
What's up, everybody? It's Tucker Austin, one of WFUV Sports' New York Yankees beat reporters in 2025. Aaron Judge and company are hungry to return to the Fall Classic to avenge their defeat last season. Follow me on X at @Taustin_24 for live game updates, video recaps, and more as the Bronx Bombers chase their 28th World Series championship. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New York Yankees.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe Henry, one of your New York Mets beat reporters for the 2025 MLB season. From Soto's slugging to Senga's strikeouts, I'll have you covered from Citi Field all year long. Follow me on X at JoeHenry_4 for exclusive interviews, game day insights, and live coverage of every play. So take a ride on the 7 train with me as the Mets continue their quest for World Series glory. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Hello and welcome back into our studio. I have been told that I need to, before we get into some Yankees, there's one pressing matter that I need to address, and that would be Mr. Carrino's hoodie that he has on over here.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
This Chrome Hearts.
What about it?
I don't know. I've been told I need to do a check on it here, so let's just for the people, could you
Chris
give us a
Carrino
little,
fit check.
give us a little fit check?
I don't know. It just seems like jealousy bleeding through the production side of the studio, which it's not necessarily attractive on Griff Stevenson. Let's just say that. But I hear him talking. What is he saying?
He would like to know country of origin.
Country of origin, like the hoodie.
Like
he's saying is he
he's
referring
saying
to it
it's
not being real?
Yeah, he would like to see if it's
Griff.
He wants to
authentic.
know if that thing's from like Bangladesh.
is that a DH gate hoodie?
Let's see how far I go with this. Let's just say Griff. My dad's radio partner, Tim Capstraw, Griff. I know he's smiling and now not looking at me because he's embarrassed. Tim Capstraw, childhood friend, growing up. They grew up in New York, in not the city, but New York. I don't know if you call it upstate. That seems a bit egregious. But one of his best friends growing up, Griff. Let me see if this name rings a bell to you. Richard Stark. That's weird. He's the founder of Chrome Hearts. Oh, like he created the brand. Oh, so now the Capstraws get Chrome sent to their house. Right. And sometimes the Capstraw, especially Tim Capstraw, not in the fashion scene as maybe me and you are. So maybe some of that stuff maybe ends up at my house. Maybe my mom has one as well that she might also be wearing right now. I don't know what she's wearing necessarily. But all this to be said, the fake allegation to get the hoodie from the person who created the company seems a bit egregious. It's like if Griff had a company and then sent me a hoodie and then was like, "Hey, where was that?"
Chris, you've done
But I just want to say something for everyone listening on radio who may be hearing some weird noises. That is Chris Carrino trying to steal his microphone and bring it through the glass into the booth.
Well, I'm trying to talk to Griffin behind me and.
Okay, I just would like to preface.
And we've had a substitution in the production.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
I don't think it's inherently.
What are we talking about in this segment again?
It was supposed to be Yankees, but I'm sure no one cares about that.
Nothing happened last night.
You guys are. I'm still gonna legit check the Yankees trade deadline here in a second. I'm just saying. The reason I posed the question is because it's like a go-yard bag where it's like. So many people have fake ones.
I had a go-yard wallet that I lost.
I think he's saying you're basic too.
No, definitely not. That's not that hoodie.
He's reading through the line. You're reading the right. You're reading under the right lines.
I learned how to read context.
No.
Barrett's reading in between the right.
No,
the correct
I just think it's a brand that's been tarnished. I would say it's been tarnished.
And we've had someone leave. We had Tucker
breaking
leave.
all the mics in the studio right now. I don't know what's going on. Everyone's touching their mics. Something's going on.
I was gonna say that it's one of those things that because the fakers have it's been tarnished, but now since Chris has that amazing story, I think it weirdly backfired and made it like cooler.
It did seem to backfire a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, if Griff gets even closer and we can get this on the mic, it
sparkling.
actually sparkles. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't really know if the fake. That'd be really hard to for a cheaper value. That'd be hard to make. I feel like
Tucker's now in the booth with a headset on. Yeah, that mic's not working. But
no, it's not.
We're trying a lot of things. We're doing like rolling subs here. We're just moving guys in and out for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. It's chaos.
Well, let's just put
Mike
a cap.
also doesn't work there.
Let's put a cap on the fashion portion of the
Yankee, I was gonna say
of the Yankees of the Yankee portion of this.
Third time's the charm,
We
gentlemen.
got a mic working.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're back in business.
Oh, wow.
All right.
So I finally don't have to sit in there with like a parrot on my shoulder.
Okay,
I felt like the mute pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Tucker, do you want to do like a WWE-esque tag in right now?
We are gonna need y'all to switch back. Though.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like one of the.
We can switch it back.
I'm like one of the Uso brothers right now. I'm just like waiting for the tap in.
Yeah,
All right,
we can switch it back.
I think we
but now
should
it's
talk
Tucker, he
now.
just called himself an Uso brother. You need to get back in here.
I think we need to tap now and maybe talk about some actual sports on this sports show.
Yeah.
WWE
And just to
is
put
an actual sport.
Just put a wrap on that whole conversation. Tim Capstraw family, love you very much. An heirloom of my life was given to me by them, and I appreciate it. And just to wrap on that conversation. Also, to give you a segue, Barrett, spent a lot of money on Yankee fashion, Yankee merchandise in Cooperstown over the weekend, and I had it on last night, and it didn't really do much. The bullpen still collapsed, even though I had 3 Yankee-fitted hats next to me, unfortunately.
Speaking of said bullpen, recently the trade deadline just happened, and lots of moves were made to bolster that bullpen.
I thought it was. Isn't it supposed to be one of the best ones ever?
That is what people were saying.
And it still could be.
Jake Bird from the Rockies.
Clearly, just because you have 4 closers in the bullpen doesn't make it the best bullpen ever.
Who would have guessed that
we might be speaking a little too soon.
Who would have guessed that just throwing dudes in who are used to closing in random situations wouldn't go so well?
I just don't like. I think the Yankee fans really need to pump the brakes on this one.
And
it's like DEFCON 2 in Yankee social media right now, and it doesn't need to be. It is the first game since the deadline. Like, it didn't go well. Like, boo-hoo, there's 2 months left in the season for these guys to figure it out, and it's not like they're going to play like this for the entire rest of the season.
Yeah, so just so everyone listening knows, Jake Bird was acquired from the Rockies. He pitched last night, didn't go well. David Bednar, 2-time All-Star closer, had a very poor season last year, but has rebounded very well, was acquired from the Pirates, pitched last night, went very poorly. And then Camilo Doval, who has been one of the more talked about closers in recent years because of his pitch arsenal. Pitched last night, did not go well either. In addition to those, they made a trade for Ryan McMahon a couple days ago. That actually has been a very good trade since he's come over.
McMahon's been awesome.
McMahon has been great.
You think Boone feels a certain way about seeing a third baseman wear 19 like that? He's just like, oh, that was me.
Maybe.
He just like
every time he gets up, I'm like, I wonder what Boone's thinking.
That hadn't crossed my mind.
I think it every time he gets up to plate.
To be honest, I don't also feel like managers that often or their feelings. But
right. And also, before you set the rest of the scene, I have a point that doesn't involve in this, but I want to get out quickly. Especially the 4 guys or 5 guys first game last night with the Yankees, but all the guys they've gotten in the deadline, even going back to Ryan, that was so cool last night. This is more of a positive point because everything was really negative last night. Aside from maybe saying that people are being
the first 6 innings, but yeah.
But let me just say one of the positives overarching last night, one of the positive themes of last night. Let me rather say that is. Yankees, these ball players, specifically where you said Pittsburgh, Colorado, coming from places where, first of all, they're not competitive. They're not competing to go win a championship, let alone compete to maybe even make the playoffs. And that Yankee crowd last night, the amount of Yankee fans in that stadium last night was jarring, like seriously jarring. When Volpe hit the home run, it was loud. And so my point, and I'll wrap it quickly here, is that all these guys, the feeling I had at home was like, these guys must think this is so cool that they come from these places, whether it's Rockies, Pittsburgh, or maybe away fans aren't as prevalent or even nearly as prevalent, and they immediately, first game with the Yankees, walk into basically a Yankee home game in Miami with this exciting game, with these ups and downs. Yankee fans given multiple opportunities to lose their minds last night. I found that part and that kind of point of view, that perspective from the new Yankees to be very interesting last night because it almost adequated them with the Yankee Nation, Yankee fandom right away, really quickly, and it let them know almost right away that being a Yankee is something special. Being a Yankee is something that is really important, and I think the value of the situation might have also kind of hurt them later. Maybe some nerves kind of coming through toward the end, especially with the guys from the bullpen.
Yeah, and that is a great point. Very an interesting thought that a lot of people don't necessarily, you look at the player and you think only the player value, but there is also a lot of mental sides, mental aspects of, getting traded midseason, especially from a team that, is so far out of it into a team that is in the heart of a pennant race, of a division race.
Last night the Rockies were so far out of it and they won the game.
Yeah.
That was
his
former team.
Things like that happen, but
yes.
In addition to the
other things that happened.
in addition to the pitchers and Ryan McMahon, also acquired were Ahmed Rosario and Jose Caballero.
Yeah,
I think it's Caballero.
I'm with you on that. I'm not 100% on it either, but silky guy. Silky except for the end, obviously.
Yeah, well that's not nice, but super speedster.
Jump in the gun.
Also, Austin Slater was acquired. He's probably just a pinch hitter. He's
But another one of those guys from a team that is just completely non-competitive who suddenly is battling for the pennant with the Yankees.
Yes.
He came from the White Sox, which I think it goes without saying.
I think the Yankees did a very good job of capitalizing on teams just kind of in the midst of a fire sale, and they didn't give up a whole lot, but I feel like they got quite a good return. I feel like I personally am a big fan of their deadline. I know yesterday it didn't look great, but I think they made all the right moves that are hopefully going to pay off to put them over the hump. They also offloaded Carlos Carrasco and Oswald Peraza in kind of smaller moves that really won't have any repercussions. I feel like it was just kind of we need to get these guys off the roster somehow.
Carrasco, I feel like Cookie's been gone for a little bit longer. Didn't they DFA Cookie like
they might have DFA'd him
a while
but
ago?
They traded him to Atlanta for cash.
Oh,
so.
okay, yeah.
But he may have been waived or something, or
yeah,
DFA'd,
it's something like that. But he
part of
was
the
just
DFA.
not. I don't think he was playing.
Yeah, he was traded for cash at 5.27.
Stroman also gets a straight boot.
Yeah, Stroman. Yeah, a lot of moves were made by the Yankees at the deadline. A lot of it centering around that pitching staff to bolster it, to get it into a position where they are very happy going into the playoffs and also down the stretch. Did not work out so well last night, but as I mentioned, they
also didn't bolster the pitching staff. The pitching staff got better by subtraction with Stroman being gone, but they didn't necessarily get anybody else. The bullpen they added in surplus, but I feel like from a starting pitching perspective, they're almost relying on we have a lot of injuries right now, and hopefully it'll all work out kind of thing.
That is true, but as I was talking with Tucker before the show, it does look like Luis Gil is slotted to start tomorrow.
He's
finally back.
If he could be really good, it's there's no problem.
If he is in fact back tomorrow, I think that is a huge let off.
They
for the
activated
pitching
him
staff.
with the other roster moves. They activated Gil back to the main roster.
They'd like to see Rookie of the Year Gil out there, but I don't even think they need Rookie of the Year Gil.
If you get an average major league starter from Luis Gil, I think you're
because he can just pull in post injury. He could pull into the 4.
Yeah, if Luis Gil is your number 4 starter, I think you're very happy.
That's not bad,
especially with whatever you get out of Schlittler, whatever you get.
Playoff series, I'm okay with that.
Probably the best 4th starter.
Schlittler is probably the first to get bounced from the rotation and stay in the bullpen. But now that the bullpen is so full, I don't really know how much of a reality that is anymore. It was kind of Stroman getting bumped into the bullpen was a symptom of the Yankees not having that many bullpen arms, so they had to use starters who they didn't want to use in the rotation.
I also think
now the bullpen is bursting at the seams.
If Stroman was less reluctant initially with the bullpen, I think that's where he'd be right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they didn't want to use him as a starter, but he forced the objective, and now he's not on the team anymore. How'd that work out?
Let his ego get in the way.
That was what was weird too. Was that Stroman's last start wasn't even that bad. I was covering the game, and the Yankees wound up.
No, his last start was 2 days ago.
Yeah, and they wound up winning.
You were there too?
Yeah.
Thought I was there.
Wait, I did Monday, Thursday.
I thought he pitched on Wednesday.
He pitched Monday. I thought.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
These guys go to so many games, they all blend together.
I know, and it's true. It really is
wow.
true.
I'm pretty sure I was there for Stroman.
Struggle of being a Yankees
I'm not even saying it from the
or did he pitch Thursday?
I'm not even saying it from the perspective that you're wrong.
No, he did pitch Thursday. He pitched in the rain delay game.
Yeah.
So Stroman pitched on Thursday, and actually pitched pretty well for 3 innings.
Right.
Then if you don't look at the 4th, his start is pretty solid.
Yeah, you didn't work on Thursday. I worked on Thursday.
No, Chris.
Or I worked Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes. See, I'm not even I know it comes off. I'm just trying to prove it, but I really think I literally thought I worked on Thursday.
Yeah.
My bad.
Because you're there anyway.
No, I know.
For the internship, so you're always there.
And Warren pitched a very good outing when I was there on Wednesday. 1 run, 6 innings. Warren, another guy who I have a lot of confidence in.
Oh,
in October.
very high on Warren.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. It sucks.
October, I got to see it, but
and
from what I've seen so far this year, I'm pretty impressed. Even in the starts where he gets pieced up a little bit, he still is pretty good at recovering and still making competitive pitches post a mistake. After giving up a 2 or 3 run home run, he can still attack the zone, which is good to see out of a young guy. He's confident.
And this sounds dumb. I know it sounds dumb.
Let's hear it.
I'll just say it. If he's healthy, or not him. If Clark Schmidt, that injury doesn't happen, I'm so much more inclined to be this team's gonna win the World Series.
I'm definitely higher on the team.
But
if Clark Schmidt's around,
so it sounds goofy to be Clark Schmidt is he's a World
He's
Series
the missing
player,
link,
but he kind of is. If you think about how good he was,
at least
how
for the
dependable
rotation.
he could be, and the rotation is the Achilles heel of this team for all intents and purposes. You even look, and this is where I'd like to ask your opinion, Barrett. I feel like the offense of this Yankee team through moves like where it stands right now is it's a good 1 through 9. Like it's a very strong, maybe the strongest lineup of Yankees I've seen in half a decade.
I think genuinely one of the most underrated moves at the deadline is not even necessarily the acquisition of Ryan McMahon. It's the ability of Jazz to consistently
second base.
play second base, where he's been his bat is significantly more impactful as a second baseman.
And mental, just like knowing
Yes.
you're playing there every day is so important.
Jazz being able to show up every day to the ballpark and know he's going to play second base, be able to bring his offensive, his caliber of offense as a second baseman versus a third baseman. And if Ryan McMahon can be even half of what he's been since he's been acquired, I think you're ecstatic with that move.
Still waiting on a home run, oddly enough.
It's true. He's
Very weird. But he has a walk-off. He has several RBIs. He's hit doubles. I don't think he has a triple yet, but he's still been hitting the ball pretty well, like multi-hit games. He's still without a bomb.
He could have half the OPS he's had since he's gotten
if
back.
he's a
as
league
long as
average
he's
hitter,
good defensively, it doesn't really matter.
If he's a league average
Yeah.
hitter and he does what he's done on defense his entire career, I think, and just the ability to allow Jazz to play second base is so huge, because it's very underrated being able to play a familiar position every day,
Right.
and not even necessarily like your natural position. Like when Jazz was with the Marlins and they had him playing center field every day, he at least knew he was coming and playing center field every day.
Right, and that is a tough position, but if you
Mhm.
have the consistency, I think mentally it definitely helps. Also, I'd like to touch on this briefly because I don't think it ever gets touched on. Maybe the most bizarre situation the last couple of years with the Yankees to me, and especially because it hasn't been talked about as much, is I feel like the Oswald Peraza situation is so freaking bizarre.
I think it was handled very poorly.
Poorly, yes, but also like a guy's had so much opportunity to just find his way into that lineup. Like third base is his. Third base had his name on it for literally 2 years basically, and the guy just couldn't get it together.
All he had to do was string a couple hits together, and
Right.
it would have been his.
Right. I mean, even shortstop Volpe he had such a decline. It felt like if Peraza played really well, that could have been a conversation. Maybe he didn't take his job, but it would have been a conversation. But he really only guy I looked just doing prep for the show. I was looking at the Yankee team's WAR. Only guy on the team with a negative WAR. Like that is
He was
bizarre.
He was poor, like bad.
and
honestly,
I just don't. It's just a guy who just seems to constantly shoot himself in the foot. Maybe a change of scenery would help, but it just felt like. It's so frustrating because if he just worked, it felt like everything did, and it felt like all the puzzle pieces fit. But without him, he kind of ruined the whole picture. I felt
At
like.
some point you have to wonder how much the Yankees system is to blame for it, because
Right.
I don't know. I feel kind of bad just blaming Peraza for being the only guy on the team with negative WAR.
But
and
Lombard, Spencer, and
dealt.
Dominguez are kind of they're examples to the contrary. I feel like
yeah, well, Dominguez.
he was bad in Double-A last year. Better numbers in the MLB than he does in Double-A.
Start of this season, I was down on Dominguez. I did not think his hitting was going to come around, and his defense was extremely questionable.
Right.
In the outfield, to say the least. But I gotta say, I'm really impressed with his ability to put his head down, go to work, and make himself into a better baseball player as the season has progressed. He's become a better hitter.
He rakes.
Already being a switch hitter gives him an advantage. The Yankees want him in the lineup because it doesn't matter who's
They need
pitching.
switch hitters, yeah.
But then watching him work on defense too, he really figured out that close to the wall fly ball.
Right.
That was if you hit a ball near the wall in left field in April, it's hitting the ground.
Which
Dominguez is not catching that baseball. He's going to overrun it, or it's going off his glove. And I mean, it happened again last night with that ball near the wall.
he caught one off the wall on Wednesday too. It's just that run scored on a tag.
Well,
unfortunately.
there was that
He
one.
doesn't have an arm.
Yeah, there was that one on Wednesday. Similar thing happened on Thursday, I think, no, it wasn't Thursday. It was that Wednesday game where he kind of fell. It was bases loaded, sac fly. I think he caught it and fell a little bit.
Yeah.
But in last night's game, Kyle Stowers hit a grand slam that went off of his glove and over the wall. I couldn't really tell from the trajectory. It didn't look like it changed that much, so I think it would have been out either way.
Yeah.
But on initial glance, it kind of looked like Dominguez may have helped it over the wall. But again, I'm not you can't strike him for that. He was trying to catch the baseball. But he's gotten much better at those plays near the wall where he's putting his hand out, tracking close to the warning track, and trying to focus on making the catch before hitting the wall. He's gotten way better on defense. And like you said, the hitting has come around. So for Dominguez, in a season where I wanted him either off the team or back in AAA in May, it speaks volumes that now I'm cool with him being in the lineup in the postseason.
Yeah, and speaking of Dominguez and how he's kind of, I mean, not he's not a guy where you like can't justify not having him in the lineup every day, but with Judge will be back soon-ish. We're not sure.
Actually, I think Tuesday or Wednesday against the Rangers.
Yeah, I think that's what I read as well as Game 1 of the Rangers series is when they wanted him back.
But what's the? Is he gonna?
We're not sure what that's gonna look like. So
yeah,
the
we'll
Stanton
see.
and Judge gonna have to compete for the DH position.
That's the issue, is because Stanton has been.
Is it a competition?
No, but
I mean, it's not, because Stanton is out.
It's clearly Judge.
If Judge
no, but
has
that's like
DH,
being like
Stanton can't
oh
play.
well, we have Judge and Belly for center field, and like, is that a competition? Like, no, it's not. Judge would win it, but does that mean I don't want to play Belly? No, you know what I mean. It's the same thing. Same
If we're
argument.
talking about center
I
field,
want to keep Stanton in the lineup.
Belly wins center field.
No, he doesn't. If you're saying
Straight up.
If you're saying we could play one of these guys tonight,
Play one, sit the
'cause
other.
that's the argument we're having with DH.
I guess it would. Yeah,
But you
then it
wouldn't
would
want
be
to take
Judge.
Belly out of the lineup. That's my point.
Yeah.
Same thing with Stanton. You want, especially in October, you want to take Stanton out of
True.
the lineup
And
in October.
Come on. Stanton is pretty. I wouldn't say
He's mythical in October.
I wouldn't say he's hot right now, but it's a good thing because he's been hot and cold his
Those
whole
have
Yankee
been good
career.
recently. He's not been bad. Like,
Exactly.
He's been good.
He's got an OPS over like 860 right
Yeah.
now. Like he's not
hot and cold his
he's
whole
not
Yankee
a guy
career.
You can take out of the lineup.
He's
But-
rehabbing. He's playing in a rehab.
Last
basically.
postseason, he played insane,
Yeah.
and it's now carried over into this season where, like, when he came back finally from injury, he's basically played a full season of really consistent, good baseball
think we're
as a
finally
straight hitter.
It's funny to say, but I think we're finally seeing the Giancarlo Stanton that the Yankees traded
This
for.
this is the
This is
the
what
guy.
they traded for, and I think what 5-6 years into his Yankees career, we're
A lot of
finally seeing
injuries,
it.
just
a lot
like
of
a lot of injuries, and trying to I shouldn't say trying to force him, but like trying to get him to play the outfield for that long, I think was probably a mistake, and is probably the reason why his wheels went away as fast as they did. He could still be running the bases today if he goes to a DH like a year after he comes to the Yankees, but that's not what the Yankees wanted out of him. He was an outfielder when they traded for him, and so he will be an outfielder until he can't.
And so, yeah, I mean, but back to my original point with bringing up Judge, because obviously Judge is going to be in the lineup. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like. I think they're pretty hopeful that he'll be able to play at least some outfield, and he won't be a full-time DH when he comes back. But they also just traded for a lot of outfielders. Austin Slater. Ryan McMahon's going to be in the lineup every day, but Austin Slater's an outfielder. Jose Caballero we saw play in the outfield yesterday. Shortstop, natural shortstop. Ahmed Rosario has also played some outfield in his career.
That guy is just here for the ride.
Yeah,
Ahmed Rosario has been so funny since he came to the Yankees. He got into one game as a pinch hitter. I think it was the game I worked on Thursday. After the rain delay, he pinch hits a random single.
Mm-hmm.
He's now one away from 1,000 hits, by the way.
Wow. Who?
Ahmed Rosario.
From 1,000?
He's at 999 as of the hit that I saw on
For a second,
Thursday.
I thought you said 3,000.
No,
what?
no, he's one away from 1,000 career hits. But I mean, milestone is a milestone. But Ahmed Rosario is literally like he hasn't gotten in a game since that at bat, and he's been the first guy out of the dugout when the Yankees do anything. And like Anthony Volpe hits a game-tying home run last night. Ahmed Rosario is running up and down the dugout in like on the warning track, going insane.
Yeah, but to that point of him just being along for the ride, with him just being acquired, I feel like it's unlikely he gets, sent down with Judge coming up. Or with Judge being reactivated, what is the corresponding move? I know we talked a little bit about it before the show, potentially being another pitcher. The Yankees just loaded up their bullpen, so maybe they can afford, especially with Heel coming back and Schlittler potentially moving to the bullpen, you maybe have a little bit more length in the bullpen. So is a pitcher going down the corresponding move for Judge being reactivated, or do you send down one of the guys you just traded for? I think it'll be interesting to see as we approach that Rangers
Actually,
series.
that will be interesting because if the Yankees want to keep their like lefty-righty balance in the bullpen, they probably want to. It's interesting. They probably want to get rid of a right-hander, keep as many lefties as you can.
I think the only thing is like who gets sent down from the bats if it is in fact the bat.
Yeah,
because,
that's like
because there's so much depth in the outfield now that there's probably 4 to 5 guys. If Judge is able to play the outfield, there's probably 4 or 5 guys you want to be able to get in consistent reps in the outfield.
I mean, there's nobody you send down.
But exactly.
at least from the list.
The guy you would think would be either Ahmed Rosario or Austin Slater would probably, or even Jose Caballero. But again, you just acquired them, and so it's to an extent, it's like you can't really send them down.
I'd say like give it like a week or two before they start like really moving guys. Obviously, when Judge comes back, they're gonna have to move somebody immediately.
I think it'll probably be a pitcher that goes down in the short run.
Because they'll be like for the rest of the year they'll be pulling somebody up and sending somebody down.
It'll be more of a fluid bullpen situation, I think, because I think also this deep into the season with Judge carrying a bit of an injury, it definitely doesn't hurt to have an extra bat on the bench, especially like
I think that was the logic they went into the deadline with. I'm sure
and having guys like Ahmed Rosario and Jose Caballero who can play infield and outfield, it gives you a little bit more flexibility in not feeling so pigeonholed with those 5 guys on the bench and them all being outfielders or them all being infielders.
Caballero also very speedy, so should come in handy.
He was probably I would say the main reasoning behind his acquisition was to have a guy who can pinch run, especially when you have a guy like Giancarlo Stanton in the playoffs who you don't want him on the bases late in game. And so I think that's probably where we'll see most of Caballero's appearances come, is as a pinch runner in the postseason for Giancarlo Stanton. But otherwise, I think the biggest question mark is just going to be what does Judge's position look like for the rest of the season would probably be the only question mark left on this team. And I feel like there's a little bit of maybe lack of transparency in what exactly the injury was and how severe it is. Because, we heard he was going to go get some x-rays and maybe get a second opinion. But, you two are a little bit more tuned into, what's going on in Yankees land. But I personally have not heard a whole lot on it since it happened.
No, it was really just...
And it's always like that with
day
Judge,
of,
it feels
yeah.
Like. It always feels like it's a bit quiet
like,
around his injuries and things of that nature.
With the toe a couple years ago.
Yeah, and even day of, they pulled him from the lineup and just said he was getting imaging. They didn't even say what it was going to be until after they got the imaging done, and then they were like, oh no, we were actually looking at maybe UCL, and people were like, oh my God, Tommy John, it's over, and spun that in the news for a week until they were like, no surgery. He's
the
fine.
Tommy John storyline. They took the Tommy John storyline and ran with it, and it's like
because why wouldn't you? It's like the same thing as Justin Fields dislocating his toe, but Justin Fields carted off was in the news for 2 days.
It's you're in the New York media, it's the biggest star in New York sports. You got to be a little bit more you can't just float things out there and let the news cycle take off with it, because you're going to end up with that and you're going to have to come back.
Yeah,
later.
and that's honestly that's probably why they played it so close to the chest
too,
because just to have people run with as little as possible effectively. But I mean, we're seeing clips of him taking BP in Miami. He's with the team and he's doing baseball things. So
I think he'll be fine. It's just I
just haven't seen him throw yet.
He's not going to play right field every day, no matter what. I don't think so. You're probably looking at least 1, maybe 2 days a week where he has to DH just to, because he avoided
even just
surgery.
for long-term safety.
But just for
I would
safety,
just think about maybe just for a month. Think
Yeah,
about giving him send him back out and right in September if he feels good.
The
But
only issue
if
with that is
you
you
get-
have to find a way to play Stanton, because Stanton can't sit for a month, and Judge needs to play every day. Especially Stanton just can't sit for a month. So I don't think he's ever played first base in his life.
So I guess Stanton's days off are just days when Judge DHs, but those happen more often now, theoretically.
Yep, and then you completely remove Ben Rice from the DH.
But
They're going to
He's
ask.
competing in the first base and the catcher
They
competition.
might-
So I mean, his DH, I feel like that's almost like his third role.
Are they going to ask Stanton to play the outfield?
There's
No,
no chance.
There's
I
no
mean,
way.
If this was 3 years ago, maybe, but Stanton,
No.
he literally
He was
can't move.
practicing out there, but it's like it'd be so irresponsible to put him out there.
But he's been out there
They've done it, yeah.
this year
Yeah.
in the past week.
Which, to be fair, I was like, the weirdest thing I've ever seen them practice pregame was Goldschmidt at second base. And I was like, oh, they were just doing that for fun. But then I was watching one. I don't know if they were on the road or at home, but then they brought a fifth infielder down.
Yeah.
And Goldschmidt
moves
played
over
second
to the
base,
middle.
And I was like, oh! I was like, whoa! But I don't know. I mean,
You're the Leo DiCaprio pointing meme.
yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if they put out a fourth outfielder or something in its Stanton. There's a reason they're practicing it, is what I'm saying. But it would just be so irresponsible to put him out there for a team that's trying to get outs, things like that.
Yeah, that is true. But overall, just quickly wrap up this Yankees segment. Thoughts on the trade deadline, and then thoughts on, I guess, what this next month is going to look like, because I think this is a big opportunity for the Yankees to make up some lost ground. They're back. They're, I believe, 3.5 back of the Blue Jays right now, but they only have 2 series in August against teams over 500, which is a massive opportunity to take back some of those games and go into September, with if not with a division lead, within a game, half a game of the division lead. And so I personally think they did enough at the deadline to win the division. The Blue Jays did not maybe as much. That maybe they were a little bit more set with their roster. They obviously made the one big move, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I like where the Yankees are at right now.
Yeah, I would agree. The only thing is, I just don't know if I think the moves can win them the division, because now the Yankees have been set pretty much in the same spot behind the Blue Jays now for the better part of a month, and maybe that's a good thing because the Yankees went on an awful skid, and just had a really, really poor June and July, but. I mean, 3.5 games doesn't seem like that big of a gap, but if the Blue Jays continue to play the way that they are currently and have been all year, just pretty consistent, not falling too far behind or into too big of holes when they do start losing, I don't know if the Yankees can get back into the division. It'll be I think I said it a couple of one-on-ones ago, but the Yankees play the Blue Jays. They have one more series. I think Is it this month? It might be in August. But they have one more 3-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays, and that's really going to be the deciding series, I think, because either both teams are going to be coming in looking for a sweep. They're both going to want to put the foot on the gas. The Blue Jays want to open up the gap and solidify the division. The Yankees want to get back fully back in.
That's the first week of September.
Yep. So that's huge. You open the final month of the season with that series, the top of the AL East. And the lead can either shrink to nothing, or it could grow to something that the Yankees can't come back from.
And then to close the season as well, they have the Twins, the Orioles, the White Sox, and then the Orioles again.
Yeah.
So if they
and the Orioles the thing is the Orioles love to be ruiners, and they did sell at the deadline, but they'll still probably go into that last 6-game stretch separated a little bit, but still 6 games with the Yankees down the stretch. They have a chance to ruin the Yankees season. They're not going to throw that away. So the Yankees got to be on high alert. Even though they're playing that many teams under 500 going in the back end, they still have to be on their game. They have to be focused. Judge is coming back. They've kind of weathered the storm a little bit since Judge has been injured. They've been playing 500 ball without Aaron Judge in the lineup. So hopefully that means when Aaron Judge comes back on Tuesday or Wednesday, they start win 2 games, lose 1, and start going like that instead of playing 500 baseball. I feel like we've seen this though, that
sometimes they'll carry water when Judge is out, and then Judge will come back and Judge will go off, and everyone else decides to they're like, Judge is back, we don't have to play baseball anymore.
Well,
and you see the slump happen.
The new faces though could be the thing that changes that, because traditionally Judge has come back and it's been pretty much the same team that he had when he left or when he got injured. And so by the time he's back, everyone's like, okay, yeah, Aaron Judge is back. We can all stop. But now there's 4 new position players that can be in this batting order that kind of felt Chris, you and I were talking about it before the show a little bit. I don't know if we actually talked directly about it, but we both mentioned that going into the game last night, it felt a little bit different. Something about the team's vibe and the energy around the game just felt different. It felt like they were going to win, and it felt like things were going to go well, and they didn't wind up going well. But the team still feels new. You know what I'm saying? It feels like Cashman finally did enough at the deadline where I feel like this is the team has turned over a new leaf post deadline.
It's the same way I felt in the series in Philly last year when Jazz had his kind of coming out party for the Yankees, where he had all those home runs, where it kind of just felt new and sparkly, kind of to what you're saying. I got the vibe as midway through the game, as the game went along, because I think when the game started, I think like any first game after a big deadline, it just feels like a newer team. But I think the real excitement in what you're talking about came to me when the game just was so back and forth toward the end. Like, they gave away the lead, and especially the Volpe home run to tie the game. I was just like, damn, this team is fun. Like, this game felt different.
They don't quit. I'm
Feels
telling
like
you,
a game
they
that
don't
they'll
quit.
show clips of on Yes, like 3 or 4 years from now, and be like, that was a great game. Like, it just felt like something that we were going to remember, and, maybe we will, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I mean, so I think just to close out our thoughts here on the Yankees is it seems like there's a bit more, after that skid and going into the trade deadline, it feels like there's a bit more buzz around the team and a little bit more belief that they've potentially put themselves in a position.
There's more winning energy day after the deadline than there was day before the deadline. And I think that's the most important
which you
part.
want out of the deadline. You want to come out of the deadline if you're in, a contending position. You want to come out of the deadline feeling like
something changed.
You have a better chance to win after the deadline than you did before.
Cutter's King was on one last night on Twitter.
He always is.
The Volpe home run happens. I'm literally checking I go on his account because I'm like, I wonder if he said anything about it. And he's like, when Volpe hits a home run, but then you get to watch a Doval collapse or whatever. And I'm like, this guy is in our dome. Like, this guy is in like the deepest parts of our dome.
He's legitimately one of my favorite Twitter accounts. He's all over Yankees fans, and no matter what happens, he always seems to come out on top.
He's very.
He has mastered Twitter.
I just also couldn't imagine being a Yankee fan like I am, and then also like paying attention more to the Red Sox than the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like, he pays attention more to the Yankees than he does the Red Sox. Like, he's tweeting about the Yankees all the time. So that part I don't know, but he also had excitement last night. We're gonna go general MLB. Maybe we'll touch on it later, but Roman Anthony as well.
Let's not.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather not.
I was pandering to Joe in the back.
We don't need to talk about it.
Anyway.
Things we do need to talk about will come after this break, and that will be the New York Mets, what they've done since the deadline, how they're looking, leading the division right now. But that will be after this break, which will be the New York Mets, and who they may actually have the best bullpen in baseball now. The Yankees talked about it a lot, but we'll hit on that a little bit after this break.
It's WFUV New York, fostering community with public media from Fordham University, on air, online, and always commercial-free.
Good. 100, first pitch I think it was. around the strike zone. It's a really, really good fastball, but then you look at the breaking ball, the slider and some of those pitches to, like keep those hitters guessing. When you got to get ready for 100, and then before you know it, he's dropping that breaking ball right there for strikes, for chase. It's pretty tough at bats, and he's a pretty elite arm right there.
What you just heard was Mets manager Carlos Mendoza talking about newly acquired Ryan Helsley and his electric outing last night. We are joined here for this segment by our very own Mets beat reporter and the one and only Joe Henry. Joe, what are your thoughts on this new acquisition here?
I think Helsley is one of a few compliments that the Mets sought after in the bullpen. And I say compliments because what's impressive about this Mets deadline is they're able to beef up the bullpen, but it's not just by getting arms. They got a variety of different arms that they can put out there in succession and really throw off hitters. I'm imagining Ryan Helsley who gasses 100, and then Tyler Rogers, who's a submariner, who his fastball peaks at 83 miles an hour, the slowest in Major League Baseball, going back-to-back. In your lineup, having to see both of those guys back-to-back. And then the trumpets blare and Edwin Diaz comes in for the 9th. The Mets get 3 relievers at the deadline. They get Gregory Soto as well. He's already had a couple appearances for New York. Of course, they add Cedric Mullins as well in the outfield to play a bit of maybe a strong side platoon role with Tyrone Taylor. I think they're one of the deadline winners, and I think the bullpen is what headlines that.
Yeah, I think what differs their bullpen acquisition so much from the Yankees, who we just talked about, is the Yankees went out and got just a bunch of closers, whereas the Mets thought about it a little bit more, strategically, in that Ryan Helsley obviously has been the closer for the Cardinals for the last couple years, but he also has experience as a setup man, so he'll slot in behind Edwin Diaz fine, mentally, whatever. And Tyler Rogers is obviously a guy who's pitched, all over the game. He's been a middle relief guy. He's closed a couple games, and he's been a setup guy. He's been all over the place, so he obviously will be comfortable. And that's a big boon for guys who are coming to a new team, being able to slot into familiar positions, whereas the Yankees are trying to bring in a bunch of closers and just say, hey, go pitch in the 4th, 5th inning, if they have to, which is why I personally am a little bit more partial to the Mets deadline deals than I was to the Yankees. But Tucker, what do you got for us on the Mets trade deadline?
I think they did exactly what everybody was pretty much expecting the Mets to do, which is just go out and don't make like the biggest splashes ever. Specifically like in the reliever market, which was like incredibly robust at this deadline. It felt like the whole market was really built around relief pitching. And so in a time when a lot of big name relievers were changing hands, the Mets managed to do pretty much exactly what Kurt predicted on the show last week, and say that the Mets are going to get like 2 or 3 pitchers who don't they don't necessarily like light up your brain when you think about them as like top tier, but they're pretty solid arms that most people have heard of for one reason or another. And the important part is they're going to do a job. And like you were saying, Joe, they work in tandem. Especially like changing speeds that much from one guy to the next is going to be a nightmare for opposing lineups, I think. And with the Phillies going to get a big fish in Joan Duran, I think the Mets made like reciprocal moves to fight against Philadelphia. They only trail by a half game in the East. This is going to be a really, really fun race in the National League East down the stretch between the Mets and the Phillies. I think preseason I had the Phillies as like maybe the best team in the National League. I don't know. I think I had them at least winning the East, if not going to the NLCS. But the Mets have been really, really good. Juan Soto, after struggles at the start, found himself again. A lot of the young guys, farm system guys for the Mets, have been performing pretty well. Brett Beatty has been like the discovery of a lifetime because it looked like he was never going to make it. But yeah, these additions to the bullpen are great.
Yeah,
Helsley and Soto both throw gas. They're going to be awesome. And like you mentioned that 83-mile-an-hour fastball for Rogers. He is he's a submariner, so different arm angle. It's really weird. And B, when you throw slower, you have so much more control.
He's also statistically one of the probably top 3 relievers in baseball over the last 5 years.
I mean, the guy can hit his spots.
Obviously, the stuff isn't there, and maybe, the actual, like meaningful games haven't been there, but statistically, just purely looking at the numbers, he's a top maybe 5 reliever in the game.
You just got to hope, like, if you're the Mets, you have to hope that you don't put Rogers into a game, like, say it's the postseason, you just had Helsley out there throwing 100, everybody's behind everything, and they're all, like, the other team's all late. Then you bring in Rogers to switch things up, but now their eyes are lighting up because they have 83 moving, like, ideally he keeps it low in the zone because you cannot go like middle or up with 83 moving in a straight line. It's going to end up in the seats. So like very hit or miss with Rogers, but I think when you combine it with Helsley and Soto, it kind of takes the pressure off of him. And then Mullins. I just love the Mullins pickup, to be honest. Cedric Mullins is a great player. He's been a problem for the Yankees in Baltimore for a long time. So really just a great little sprinkling into an offense that's already pretty solid.
I'm not upset to see him no longer be in the AL East.
I think I'm probably a little bit opposed to y'all on that, and I'm not as big of a fan of that pickup, to be honest with you, because I just his offensive numbers have been slowly declining.
Yeah,
ever since
I don't think he's going to be a high impact player.
No, but the thing is, I think a lot of Mets fans maybe think he's gonna or was acquired to be a high end player, and at the end of the day, he is just going to be a platoon bat. He's not a guy who can play every day anymore, I don't think. He's an average defender. Tyrone Taylor's a better defender than him.
Yep.
And he is a very streaky hitter as well. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing is just if he can, pick his spots where he's going to hit, cuz he's not going to be an everyday player. He's going to be a platoon bat.
I was about to say he reminded me a little bit of, like, I don't know why, but for some reason it just reminds me of when the Mets got Yoenis Cespedes. It just an outfielder from like a random American League team, and like bring him in and we think he's going to be. Cespedes turned out great.
Cespedes was great.
He turned out great.
Cedric
but
Mullins
Mullins gives for some reason this move gives me that vibe, but it remains to be seen what Mullins will be be able to do. I mean, he was great in that breakout year in Baltimore.
21?
And he's been declining.
He's not the elite center fielder that maybe some people still think of him as, and they see that 2021 season and they still think of him as that, or even the borderline all-star that
age 30. I mean, he's still got like
he's still a in MLB terms relatively young.
Yeah,
it's just he's never been the best defender, and when you pair that with an inability to hit one, you can only hit one-sidedness. Despite being a switch hitter, it gives a little bit of question marks as to I feel like there were better options at the deadline to go get.
Who do you think they could have gotten in the outfield? Because that center field was a spot where you're like, okay, like Tyrone Taylor. I like Tyrone Taylor. I think even if he's not starting games, he's a great guy to have come in 7th, 8th, 9th inning of a close game, provide you some defense, provide you some speed. He's not not even an average MLB hitter, but he's not terrible. Someone who you can bat 8th or 9th and be like, okay, I feel okay. Same. I mean, I don't think he's Kevin Kiermaier level in center field, but he's a guy who you can say, all right, defense first. The rest of the lineup is good. Slot him towards the bottom of the order. He can be almost that second leadoff guy batting 9.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Sanchez from the Marlins, who ended up going to the Astros. I'm a big fan of. I know he's not a center fielder. Probably can't play center field. He's a more true left fielder, and that would kind of cause Nimmo to have to play center field there, which I'm sure they're not fans of. But just purely for a bat, which I think the Mets could really use, would be a pretty size, name value bat in that lineup. I think would be huge, especially with the struggling offense towards the bottom of the order. He's a guy you can slot in, at 7-hole and be very happy with.
Yeah, I think if you want to be optimistic, the way you look at a move like this is that it adds to a growing group of guys that you have towards the bottom end of your starting lineup and on your bench now, who maybe their floor isn't anything special or hasn't been, guys who are hitting 220, 230 for the season, but a lot of guys, Beatty, Mullins, Vientos, who are capable, Mauricio, who are capable of getting hot, who maybe on any given day, 6 through 9, could each go 1 for 4 or 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but also could go on these big stretches like we saw Vientos go on last year, like we saw Beatty go on earlier this year, that helped buoy your team into a winning streak, especially late in the season. So while I wish they had maybe more consistency towards the bottom of the order. I understand the moves because a lot of the guys they're dealing with are young. You don't really want to displace Vientos or Beatty from the lineup or Mauricio entirely by going out and getting a Eugenio Suarez or someone like that who's going to take so many at-bats away from them or force you to send one of them down when both of them, like Vientos on a 10-game hitting streak. He's actually been pretty decent lately. You want to get these guys reps, and the idea is now you have so many bats that maybe their floor or their baseline isn't that good, but you know that they're all guys who are streaky, which, you don't want to build a dynasty around streaky guys, but it's enough names that have enough talent that ideally, and this is, you have to get a little bit lucky, but ideally you get to October and one or two of those guys is batting well enough that they can hit 5 or 6 in the order and be a true impact player and change your World Series run.
Yeah, I finally found a player that the Mets could have gotten in the outfield instead of Mullins. That probably would be better. Like if the concern is partially the glove, and yeah, Mullins is a switch hitter, but if he's effectively not a switch hitter based on how he hits from the one side, Harrison Bader was traded by the Twins.
Bader is probably the answer. The other
former Met, it would have been a reunion, but he's in Philly now, which is going to be really interesting.
The other major target was they were trying hard to get Luis Robert, and to be honest,
yeah, his name was flying around a lot.
So he was definitely their top target, but to be honest, I honestly prefer the Mullins trade better because you would have had to give up a lot more to get Luis Robert, and I don't think he's
too much of a risk.
I don't think he's of a high enough caliber above Cedric Mullins to justify the amount over what they gave up for Cedric Mullins would have been.
If Robert was worth it, he would be like the one All-Star that Chicago sends every year to the All-Star game, and he's not.
He has the talent to be a top 3 center fielder in baseball, but he just isn't. And I think some of that might be that he plays on the White Sox, and
like prime Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, White Sox with Luis Robert was like they were all stars for no reason, but then
Eloy
fell
Jimenez
off the face of the planet after Tim Anderson got punched in the face.
He might come up in another segment. Eloy Jimenez.
Prime Eloy Jimenez is a very funny thing to say, but
prime White Sox.
Wait, everyone has their prime. I'm prime Joe Henry right now. It doesn't say much about my baseball acumen.
True. My bat speed could be better.
Everyone's bat. You could always improve your bat speed, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Mets deadline. Was really all I'm trying to say. I'm not the biggest fan of the Cedric Mullins trade, but for what they're going to ask him to be, I think they just need. I think Mets fans probably want him to be more than he's going to be. But for what he's actually going to be on the field, I think he's going to be a perfectly fine.
They should 100%. Be like down to the last day of the season, they should be in the run for the NL East.
I agree. I mean, they were. Last night is the reason they're losing, right? It was a full 1-game flip there. They were half a game up last night. When I looked at the standings, they're half a game back because they lost and the Phillies won. But I think we're going to see a real back and forth race here, which is always exciting. The Phillies obviously did a little bit more in going to get Bader, going to get John Duran, but
yeah, utterly hilarious game last night. By the way, amazing.
For the Mets,
couldn't believe it.
I mean, Jose Butto is like...
And then I looked on Twitter, and I was like, this is like the 3rd, maybe 4th craziest game of the night. Because I was watching it,
last night was going insane.
I mean, I was shaking in the 10th inning, because the things that were happening from the 8th inning on were so funny, where, like, Alonso hits this... We're getting no hit. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I just weed the Mets.
The Mets were getting no hit through 4+ innings off Robbie Ray. Pete Alonso out of nowhere just hits a jack 420 feet to get them on the board. They're down 3-1. Then you go into the 8th inning. You're starting to rally. Juan Soto gets this hit where he swings first pitch, which is not very Soto-like, and he hits a comebacker. Joey Lucchesi is the pitcher on the mound for the Giants. He reaches, he should get it, and then it hits the mound, and it takes this goofy
I saw this in the recap. It was the most ridiculous hop I've ever seen.
To the edge of the outfield grass between short and third. So Wilmer Flores is changing directions trying to get it.
Oh, he got over his head.
Rather. It gets over his head. He can't get it. It's okay, sure, RBI single, 1-run game. And then the Giants, I don't know.
They're not a real baseball team.
Very funny. They say, you know what, Jose Butto, you were traded from the Mets to us 2 days ago. I throw you in here. 2 men on, 2 outs, 1-run game. How about a debut, kid? He gives up a sac fly to Alonso to tie the game. Cinematic. Then we go to the 9th inning. We had Hell's Bells. We have Edwin Diaz's trumpets. And then the 10th inning, the Giants. I can't believe the Giants are a real baseball team.
They're
10th
not.
inning,
They're fake.
game
They
on the
don't
line.
exist.
Tie game, ghost runner at second. Hey, Dom Smith. Yeah, we need you out there. Me? Dom Smith? Yeah. All right. Big Dom Smith moments. Look up the acronym. Big Dom Smith moments. He comes up to the plate, just laces a casual single. Literally, I'm not joking. He literally walked to first base on a single. He just walked. He's so chill. He's just a chill guy. Big Dom. So he's walking. Everyone thinks, this guy, like, he's only here to hit. He hits in the game-winning single in the top of the 10th. And this is so Dom. This is just Dom. He, on the next pitch, steals second base. You're Dom Smith. How are you doing that?
What the?
Yankees legend
What
Dom
are you
Smith.
doing stealing?
It was
Mets
amazing.
legend
Red Sox
Dom
legend.
Smith.
Red Sox legend. Dom Smith.
How
Never
many
forget.
He
teams
was
has
on
this
like
guy played
he
on?
was on every team like
He was
this
also
year.
on the Mets.
Yeah.
He was a Yankee and
he
Met
came
this
up with the
season.
Mets, Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So and then
2022 or 2020 legend.
and then
Dom
in the
Smith.
bottom of the 10th, Lindor got beamed in the calf, so he gets on base, and then Soto, the very next pitch from Randy Rodriguez, virtually domes Soto, but he does like a matrix pose to avoid the ball, and then for some reason, after 2 straight pitches that like nearly killed people, Soto just swings at the very next pitch and pops out, so that was fine, and then Ronnie Mauricio struck out. So it was not a fairy tale
Yeah,
ending.
Mauricio struck out on a 100-mile-an-hour middle
Gulp.
fastball.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking dead middle. Like look at you get like the little box
Things
on
we
screen.
all do. Shout out Chris Carrino.
Should have taken a picture. It would have lasted longer.
So I mean, it was about as happy as I could be after a loss because it was just so goofy.
Yeah, I mean,
At least you know what? At least you had fun in your 10th
Dude,
inning.
I had a lot of fun.
I had no fun.
The Yankee game felt like, oh god, here I go talking about the Yankees in a different segment again.
Please,
Hey man, this is a Mets segment. Please.
let it all out.
I gotta talk about how like the grayscale in Miami. I gotta talk about it. Why is it that when every team plays against the Miami Marlins in Lone Depot Park, it looks like there is a gray filter
Lone
on the
Depot
screen,
Park.
and it takes all of the color away. Nobody gets to have fun, especially when the Yankees are in town, because
Speaking
the
of Lone
Marlins
Depot
have like
Park-
a black. They have like a black thing in the score bug,
Yeah.
and the Yankees is like dark navy, and like everybody on the field is wearing white or gray or some shade of black. It's really weird.
Traditional. But speaking of Lone Depot Park, can we talk about how bad names are getting for
Oh,
MLB
for
stadiums?
stadiums.
like what are we doing? Like Dyken Park? I'm
If
sorry.
they change Fenway, someone dies.
Fenway and Wrigley will
And it
never
might
be
be my
changed.
grandpa.
Yeah, Fenway and Wrigley are protected.
But like Lone Depot Park, like what are we doing?
and Citi Field kind of works.
City Field is fine.
It
yeah.
works. It's like it's
This
New
is
York
really-
City. It makes
It
sense.
vibes.
To be
Yeah.
fair, this is really just an excuse for me to talk about the fact that Minute Maid Park, one of
Yeah.
the greatest.
That's a
Oh,
bad
yeah.
one.
they had a train with oranges in it.
They
That's
took-
so awesome.
They took our juice box away.
and it was literally nicknamed
Well
the
put.
Juice Box. And then Dyken Park. Do you know what Dyken is? The company?
Don't they make air
They
conditioners?
make air conditioners.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Who wants to go to a state? First of all, they're named after an air conditioning company, and the air conditioning doesn't even work in the stadium. What are we doing?
Okay, so that's bad, but I was gonna say it kind of makes sense because it's like very hot. Air conditioning is a very like common commodity.
Yeah, but
in-
it has the stadium
in
has a
Texas.
roof.
Yeah,
Why does the air conditioning not work?
clearly Minute Maid Park was a much better name for the stadium, but I'm not gonna act like Dyken is random.
Dyken
know,
sucks. I
like
hate it.
you know what really sucks?
Dyken.
No,
Well, it blows. It's an AC.
Miller Park becoming
Oh.
American Family Field.
No.
It's still Miller
That
Park.
is a travesty.
It's still Miller Park.
Oh,
to
it's
me.
Miller Park in my head, but American Family Field is the
Yeah, you're
official
literally
name of the stadium.
Brewers. Why would you not be named after a beer company?
That was the whole point.
You're the Brewers.
That was the whole point of the ballpark. It was like they're the Brewers. They play in Miller Park. It's a whole thing. But then they sold it to American Family Insurance, and it was completely random. Like at least air conditioning units, like that's a thing that people in Houston use a lot and can like honestly identify with. How are the people in
I don't think anyone's
Milwaukee?
using Dyken air conditioning in Houston though.
How are the people of Milwaukee supposed to like culturally identify with an insurance
What,
company?
they don't have insurance?
You have insurance,
Are you
but
saying they can't afford insurance in Milwaukee?
like, if I had Prudential, I wouldn't be marching around like telling everybody that I have Prudential insurance. Look at me, I'm great. But if I had a Daikin air conditioner,
Speaking of being named after insurance companies, Great American Ballpark is one of the sneakiest sponsored names.
Yeah,
because Great American is an insurance company, I think.
But that one honestly, that gets a
actually
pass for me.
Yeah.
Cincinnati gets a pass. Great American
Great
Ballpark is a
American
great.
I
actually
wonder if that
works.
factored into their decision to make that their company name. It's like, guys, if we sponsored a ballpark, we could really slide under the radar here. People
No one
wouldn't
will
be very
even
mad.
question.
I hope
It's
now. I hope so.
Tell me, what's the things that come to your mind when you think about baseball?
Guaranteed
Yeah,
rate field.
Great. American field.
We
Boom.
went from Comiskey to guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed rate, man.
Yeah, and
So
Is-
lame.
Me
So
talking about-
unbelievably
is St.
lame.
Louis, St. Louis
Kwan's
is still
batting
Bush,
average?
right?
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
Bush, but it's
Yeah,
Bush
yeah.
3. They have
For
a
now.
very odd,
yeah.
they have an odd relationship with their stadium history in
Yeah.
St. Louis, but it's cool. It's a fun one.
It is.
They have a lot of like home plates and markers are all over the ground in the ballpark district of St. Louis because that's where like all of the different stadiums have been. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I'm trying to think of another stadium that's like just really bad.
Well, Atlanta got
Atlanta's
renamed.
Truist, but
Truist is fine. Also,
it's a
no,
bank.
It's a bank, not an
Which,
insurance company,
like,
but they do.
I'm
insurance
okay
stuff.
with banks because we get things like Citizens Bank Park, the bank. That's
No,
that's a
that'll
pretty
play.
good nickname. It plays.
It plays.
PNC Park, another
Yeah.
bank,
I think it's
also
a-
plays because of
like-
the alliteration in the
Well,
city of Pittsburgh.
PNC Park also works because the stadium is so awesome. Like,
True.
you could honestly, like, whatever it was called when it's fine. Like, the stadium is so cool that
Rest
it
in
doesn't
peace,
really
the
matter.
Mets segment.
I mean, the
Hey, we
Steelers
talked about
had
the Mets for a
we
little
did
bit.
talk about the Mets for a little bit.
Steelers have a field called Heinz Field.
Well, it
Well,
used to be
they
called
actually
Heinz.
don't
I
anymore.
they had
Yeah.
Acrisure or something now.
Yeah,
it's still Heinz. Yeah, there's another.
Acrisure.
It's still Heinz Field again. Like,
They took away our big ketchup bottle, man.
yeah.
That was like my favorite part of Madden was seeing the ketchup bottle.
But that
I
just
mean,
goes to
back
show like Pittsburgh can do whatever they want in
Yeah.
terms of field naming. Heinz, they could
Yeah.
do PNC. It doesn't. It's about Pittsburgh. It's not about the name.
Yeah.
And that
Mm.
I think with some of these ballparks, like if you're naming
Citizens
a
Bank is
ballpark
about Philadelphia.
in Miami, Lone Depot Park,
Lone Depot. It sticks out.
like that's
What was it
glaring.
Before? 'Cause it
But
wasn't
if you're
always
in
Lone Depot,
beautiful
it was,
Pittsburgh
Marlins
with the
Park.
bridge,
It was Marlins.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure it was just called Marlins
think you're
Park,
right.
right?
which I think Miller Park should maybe consider that avenue of naming your park after your baseball team.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the teams that have two sponsors on them. Like it's like whatever field at whatever stadium.
You
Big
know,
fan of that,
Are,
like,
are you talking
get
about
your
Jack
bag.
Coffey Field at Moglia Stadium?
Yeah. But when they do it professionally, they get it all
On
sponsored,
the grounds of
you know?
Houlihan Park,
Oh yeah.
adjacent to Murphy Field,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
at the
just-
Rose Hill campus,
Don't forget across the street from the Botanical Gardens.
What? There's
overlooking the Lombardi Center.
the Patriots don't do it, right? They don't have a field
Gillette.
It's not, but it's not
It's
a
just
field.
Gillette Stadium.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not at anything.
Gillette Stadium at Patriot Place, you could say. But
no,
there's
there's
Patriot.
there's a
Yeah,
professional
Patriot, it's
football
place.
team
It's
that does.
it's a place with the Patriots.
Yeah, it is the place where the Patriots are.
Yeah.
We are so off the rails.
Yeah, this was
Anyways.
the Mets. Anyways, Anyways, the Mets they're having a great season. They're
Have lost 4 in a row,
yeah.
but I don't
That's
think
not
it's
huge,
anything
but-
too big to worry about. I think the biggest concerns, if you wanted to boil it down, are who is going to emerge as the consistent threat at the bottom of the order, because no one has done so for more than a 2-week span throughout the entire season. And the biggest one for me is the starting pitching, because you look at the names and you have like a decent rotation. You have Manaea, you have Senga, Montaz is back, you have Clay Holmes, you have David Peterson. Peterson's really the only guy who's been I guess Holmes too,
But
been
the issue with
consistent
Holmes
and
is
healthy
he's-
all season long.
His
Holmes,
innings.
he has not been
he's
able to go
been
deep into
worse, yeah.
games. There was a
That's
little bit of
probably
chatter
because he's a reliever.
that maybe you should just go back to the bullpen, but I think since they beefed up the bullpen, which will help the starters, it maybe gives Holmes a little bit of help where he doesn't have to go as deep. I think a lot of fans are right to look and be like, hey, like you could have got Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen or some kind of better pitcher to get an upgrade. But also you have 5 guys that are like pretty good starters. The issue with almost every single one of them is they're coming off an injury or they've been really inconsistent.
Or they're at a career high in innings. I would have liked to see
Exactly.
him do something to kind of be able to manufacture like a 6-man rotation, almost purely just because Clay Holmes has been one of their
Give
better
yourself
pitchers.
a longer leash.
But yeah, if you've got a guy who's only able to go like 4 innings every night,
Yeah, like
when he
Manaea.
starts, yeah.
Manaea was out for half the season. Montaz has made 5 starts since coming back. I think 6 now. Kodai Senga, I don't think he's pitched a full season in the major leagues through 3 seasons. He barely pitched at all last year.
He pitched in,
and
5
he's
games last year?
Been in and out. Like, he had a couple of injuries this year, but generally has pitched, and he's pitched quite well. But the question is, can he pitch quite well for 3 more months?
Yeah.
And I think that there was also a problem at the deadline that everybody in the league was asking way too much for starting pitching.
I think the Mets,
everybody wanted too much. Like, you even look like the Marlins are the most obvious example with Sandy Alcantara. They wanted so much for a guy who has a 6 ERA this year. It's going to be really hard to convince any team to take him, and nobody did.
I think there were very few teams who were even in on Sandy. Probably just like, the Yankees
I
and the
certainly,
Astros would have been
in the
probably
final hour and a half of before the deadline, I was I was sitting next to Colin Loughran in Yankee Stadium, and he was just like scrolling through Twitter the entire time at the deadline, like reading off to me any of the biggest trades that were happening, and he just kept telling me for that last hour, it's like, Yankees are still in on Alcantara. They're still in on Alcantara.
The thing is, though, that I think Passan came out with it around like an hour or two after the deadline that the Marlins had basically shut down trade talks around like 3 o'clock because they just weren't getting packages they wanted. And I think it got down to the point where it was really only the Yankees and the Astros and maybe the Dodgers in.
I think the stipulation was Spencer Jones needed to be in the package if it was Sandy Alcantara.
I believe so as well. And the reason those were probably the only 2 to 3 teams in is because they're the only couple teams with like the pitching,
needs.
The pitching lab that were confident that they could turn Sandy around.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like the a lot of teams, if you're in the hunt, you're not going to go out and make your, cornerstone acquisition going to be a guy with a 6 ERA. But if you're the Yankees or if you're the Astros, who are pretty confident that you see things that, he's still a Cy Young pitcher, and you're confident that you're going to be able to make him back into a Cy Young pitcher, maybe you're willing to give up a little bit much. But we'll talk about it a little bit later, probably in our next segment with the trade deadline. But Cease was probably the same way. And I know the Astros were. And Joe Ryan would have been the big one because Joe Ryan is,
super young.
He's super young, and he's probably the only one pitching.
Except we got another.
The only one's actually having a good season.
Yeah, he's the only one actually having a good season, and he would have
Alcantara, Gallen, Kelly. It's like these guys I think are good pitchers, but like Gallen and especially Alcantara having not very good years.
I know the Astros were in on Cease literally up until the 6 o'clock deadline, and the reason they didn't do it is because they wanted a massive package, which fair, but also Dylan Cease has been somewhat poor this year.
So GMs were not happy with they were not happy with letting go of their starting pitching this deadline.
No,
it was just the way of the market, the way that it went this year. Starting pitchers were just not moving.
Relievers were moving all over the place.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But as we're starting to shift a little bit, we'll send it to break before we come back and talk some MLB trade deadline, which we will have, as well as some just more general thoughts on the MLB when we come back. I believe Mr. Chris Carrino will rejoin us for that segment. We're unfortunately gonna have to kick you out of here, Joe. You've got some graphic duties, but on the other side, Chris will rejoin us with myself and Tucker, and we will talk some MLB trade deadline.
Hi, I'm Grace McCarran, and I'm one of your 2025 New York Mets beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow along on X at Grace McCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content live from Queens all season long. From Lindor's leadoff blasts to polar bear bombs by Pete Alonso, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Mets make the charge towards October. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are 2 of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym,
discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Welcome back into our studio here. We've given you a little bit of Yankees talk, a little bit of Mets talk. We've hinted at the deadline, but we're going to go a little bit more in-depth into that. Give you all our thoughts on some of the bigger moves, some of the more impactful moves that we've seen. I think, for me personally, one of the moves that's been flying under the radar the most is the Shane Bieber to the Blue Jays. And I think a big reason for that is the fact that he hasn't pitched this year, and he didn't pitch last year either. But that is a bona fide ace, number one guy who, if he can come back and be, what he was, I think we're looking at a Blue Jays team that kind of maybe has cemented themselves as the best team and the team to beat in the AL. And it looks from, all signs that Shane Bieber will be coming back. He's already made 3 rehab starts while he was with the Guardians. He'll probably be making 1 or 2 more, and he should be back in, the next couple weeks, which would be huge, which was that big move that I was hinting at a little bit earlier. But gentlemen, what move stood out to you at the deadline that you bad, good?
You can go first, Tucker.
All right. I mean, for me, I guess it's not just one move in particular, although there were a lot of singular moves that were very odd, and some that created some weird situations. One in particular that comes to mind is Caballero's situation with the Yankees the other night, where he was a Ray until the 8th inning, and then got traded to the Yankees, and he had to switch dugouts. He didn't literally switch dugouts during the game, but afterwards, Aaron Boone saw Caballero in the Yankees clubhouse after he was playing on the other team the whole game. But for me, the biggest standout from the deadline was A.J. Preller's performance at the helm of the San Diego Padres. If we were still wondering if the Padres were going to make a run this year, I think those questions have now gone away. It's probably now who's going to take the fight to the Padres in the playoffs.
He made one of my favorite moves of the deadline in going to get Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano.
Oh, yeah.
And also my by far the least favorite in going to get Mason Miller. And it's not because of who Mason Miller is. It's because he gave up one of the highest.
Oh, yeah.
He gave up the number 3 prospect in baseball in Leo DeVries.
I thought he was 1.
He might have been 1. No, I think he's 3.
3 overall?
I think he's 3.
Maybe 1 in certainly 1 in the Padres
system. He's the
system.
number 1 in the Padres system, but I believe he's the number 3 overall prospect in baseball. He is, by everyone's estimation, the next big thing for, whether he sticks at short or he moves to third base. Leo DeVries is, all signs are pointing to him being a superstar, and you don't give up that quality caliber of prospect for a reliever. I don't care how good Mason Miller is. I don't care if he throws 137 miles an hour.
J.P. Sears was in the package as well.
J.P. Sears is a career 5.6 ERA guy.
He's a bit of an Alcantara project.
I don't.
He was with the Yankees. He had flashes of how the Yankees have all these starters that are young, like your Clark Schmidts and Luis Heels and Will Warrens and Cam Schlittlers.
Not the Manaea, the other guy.
No, Lou Trevino. I think
he was in the Lou Trevino because with Ken Waldichuk.
Right? I think so. I think he may have been in the Trevino deal. It feels that recent, although Sears could have been.
I thought he was in the who was the pitcher?
Gray?
No,
certainly not Sonny Gray.
No, it wasn't. No, not Sean Manaea. The other Frankie Montas.
Oh yes, the Montas deal.
I believe he was part of the Frankie Montas deal.
Yep.
But
definitely.
But just Leo, he's a guy you give up to go get, in the Soto type packages, not in the relief pitcher
not
type
in
packages.
The Mason Miller.
And I am about as far away from a prospect hoarder guy as it gets. I believe you should trade your prospects until they're in the major leagues and have proven that they can play in the major leagues. I don't think they have. I don't care. I'd rather go get win now guys. However, you don't trade a top 5 prospect in baseball for a relief pitcher. You just don't do it. There's just not enough value there. And so for that reason, it's probably my least favorite. But, if he's in win now mode, if he believes that this team is good enough with the moves they made, you know what? If it works out, it works out. As Griffin and I were arguing about it a little bit earlier, in terms of football, and the LA Rams. If you win a championship, it doesn't really matter how you got there. In my opinion, if you win a championship, you won a championship. That's why you play the game.
5 of their top 10
prospects gone.
Yeah,
at this deadline.
he was wheeling and dealing. I love the Ryan O'Hearn deal. I think he was behind Eugenio Suarez. I think he was maybe the best bat available.
Honestly,
at the deadline.
O'Hearn and Laureano have both been having sneaky, solid seasons for
I
the
do genuinely
Orioles in
think
a
that
season
Ryan
where
O'Hearn
the
was
Orioles
the-
have just been awful.
I think he was the second best bat available at the deadline behind Eugenio Suarez.
Wow.
And that's another.
That's
move.
not even that ridiculous.
No, I don't. Naylor, who went to the Mariners as well, is maybe another one that was probably one of the better bats. I think the Eugenio Suarez deal is hilarious.
I think it's funny that he went to the Mariners after
Yeah.
the Naylor deal when everybody was saying Suarez.
I think it's very funny that they went separately. I also think it's funny that the Mariners let Suarez go and then
brought him back.
18
Astros fan
18
is
months
surprised
later.
that team let guy walk and then brought him back.
Hey, the Astros do it when they're at the lowest point of their value, like
They
Carlos
had-
Correa and
yeah.
Justin Verlander.
Mm-hmm.
The Mariners did it at his highest value when they didn't have to let him go. They got like nothing for him, and then they traded for him at his highest value ever.
It's very Seattle, though.
It's very Seattle, and there's a reason that they've never won a World Series.
And I would like to talk about Mason Miller. You bringing up, the logic from, especially from the Padres front, definitely seems a little faulty. But specifically from his perspective, I talked about it a little bit before the show, but from being a guy who's playing in Sacramento with not much to play for and, is receiving recognition nationally, but not to a point where it's really getting him anything, to now you're in a division race, maybe a title race, for all intents and purposes, a title race. You are one of, if not the biggest component on that team for that championship, and you get to play in San Diego. You're not in Sacramento. You're not playing in that minor league park anymore. From just a lifestyle perspective specifically, I don't think anyone won at this trade deadline more than Mason Miller.
Or Austin Slater.
Yeah,
but
I think
Mason Miller for sure.
And he gets to go live in
because
San Diego.
because he
Instead of
is such a
Sacramento.
stud too, and because he's going to make an impact immediately in that Padres bullpen. Anything can happen because he's very young. So honestly, there's a chance the Padres could get rid of him by next year. But he throws 103 miles an hour. This is a Padres organization that is used to the many closing appearances of Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah,
Absolute beast of a reliever. If
this
you
is
got
also
103 coming out of the bullpen in the
Wow.
ninth, if Mason Miller becomes the Padres closer, I know Robert Suarez has that job pretty locked down right now, but in the future, if Miller becomes that ninth inning guy, I mean, look at what the Yankees had with Aroldis Chapman throwing 103.
This is also, this is a trade that is very reminiscent of the Josh Hader trade, and this is a front office that loves to go sell the farm for closers. In that Josh Hader trade, who was only on that team for another guy who was on that team for 18 months, and Preller's a guy who very short leash, and he I guess doesn't care. He'll overhaul the roster if he has to, but they gave up Taylor Rogers, Dinelson Lamet, who did not pan out, Robert Gasser, who didn't pan out, and Nestiri Ruiz, who did not pan out. But those were all high caliber prospects, and a little bit more towards that. It doesn't really matter what you give up for it. But is Griffin talking about the Rams again?
No, he's definitely not talking about the
Okay.
Rams.
Talking about a different sport.
He's a little off topic.
There was some news in
in the
another
group
sport
chat.
that just dropped a few minutes ago.
What do you got?
Do you want me to
Wait, in another sport?
Oh my God!
Is
Should
it
I-
football?
No,
oh my
basketball.
God! Yeah.
Oh.
So Luka just signed the extension. He signed the max extension
165 mil for 3 years.
with an option in 28.
Basketball
so
money is different, man.
Mikel got 4 for 150. Let's not use Mikel to compare everything. I would rather have Luka for 3 years for 150 than Mikel for
165.
10 years for 150. But anyway, 165. Wow.
165.
And I don't want to hijack the whole baseball segment, but I think from a LA perspective, Laker perspective, we've heard rumors about LeBron possibly being on the way out, and the only thing we've heard since then is now Luka signing an extension. It's an obvious sort of direction that Rob Pelinka and this Laker team are going toward the future. Luka is, one of, if not the biggest part of that picture toward the future, and the Lakers, they're making moves. Keeping a guy like Luka Doncic locked down until 2028. That's something impressive in every sport, but specifically basketball. Those guys tend to move around a lot. In baseball, maybe not as much. It was a similar feeling to how I felt about the Met deal with Soto, obviously, that deal has all the hoopla it can, but to have a generational prospect like Soto or Luka and to be able to lock them down, have the peace of mind of, unless we trade these guys, they will be in a Met uniform, they will be in a Laker uniform. I think that's something that is very valuable, especially when you're thinking about building a championship kind of core toward the future.
And talking about Luka is actually not that off topic for a baseball segment. He was at Yankee Stadium the other day.
He was in the booth. He was in the booth with Michael Kay.
It works. Kind
yeah.
of a weird interview there.
My runner friend Phil was right behind him. He said that he looks good. He said he looks healthy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I said
he always does that in the offseason.
I said to Phil, I go, it's in March. I just don't know what he's going to look like. Not to say that he bulks up during the season. He might. I think he might have to from certain stretches, especially the way he uses his body. But I do think it is easier, to your point, Tucker, to get in better shape in the offseason than during the season. That's just such that life is such a grind during the season. It's hard to really keep everything together. But trailing back to baseball, I think.
Please do.
Yeah, trailing back to baseball. You're welcome, Barrett. I think that locking down a player like they have the Lakers, where you don't have to worry about that position. I think some teams did that in this deadline, specifically Ryan McMahon. I felt like the Yankees, to your point, Barrett, giving Jazz the peace of mind that he's just going to play second base. He doesn't have to move. Locking down third base, knowing that you have a guy there who you can depend on. I think that was so valuable for the Yankees' peace of mind going forward.
The more I look at the Ryan McMahon pickup, the more he just looks like a puzzle piece that fit perfectly into the third base. Like, he fits perfectly into the bottom half of the Yankee order. He fits perfectly into his role at third base. The guy shaved. He doesn't even have to shave anymore, but he's still shaved. Why?
Had a reliever.
Because he respects tradition.
A reliever had the full beard. I forget which one.
Jake Bird.
Yeah.
Bird had a full beard. He shaved it off on his way. I love that, yes, the rule is gone, and I think it's okay for the rule to be gone, and if guys want to have beards, they can have beards. They're adults. They can make that choice about their facial hair if they want to. But I also think that players still taking it upon themselves to follow it as an unwritten rule is maybe not better, but
it is better.
I am happy as a old head, baseball old head.
Me too. And it's less
they're respecting it still.
It's less authoritative. They're doing it on their own.
Oh yeah, it feels a little bit better.
And also, respectfully, if Devin was a world beater and dominating this year, I think the change in the beard rule would have a bit more respect. But the fact that the guy that broached the topic ended up, floundering in the way he has in the early stages of his Yankee career, I think that's
honestly,
a problem.
I feel like they just got off on a really weird foot because he shaved and then then he complained about it and then they changed the rule. So he had already the deed had already been done. His beard was gone.
But who did that? That was him.
It was him. But he
instead
of complaining first and waiting, let's just say he doesn't lose the beard, baseball superstition, he probably comes out of the gate hot. But he loses the beard and then all that happens.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
He comes out of the gate and he's like Johnny Cueto dropping the ball in Pittsburgh.
There's no problem with that logic whatsoever. Go on.
No.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
It's clearly not delusional Yankee fan logic at all. No.
No, not at all. But some other trades that I think were pretty good. Willie Castro to the Cubs. I like that. He's a very underrated player.
The Cubs needed to do something, too, because they were about to go, moveless.
It's a deal that I've seen a lot of, honestly, negative reviews and saying the Cubs didn't do enough. I think Willie Castro is an extremely...
When you look at the Brewers and
the
compare the
Brewers,
two's deadlines, the Cubs did better.
Do anything. and Willie Castro is one of the better players available at the deadline. I love that move, personally. I think a lot of people maybe the numbers aren't the flashiest, but he's a guy who can play, he can play some outfield, he can play some infield, and he gets on base. He's a guy who gets on base and plays a pretty decent defense, whether it's at second base or in the outfield. I love the move, personally. But also...
Not for the Twins, though.
Oh, speaking of the Twins, the Twins traded...
we got to talk about them.
They traded 10 MLB players on deadline day.
10 from the 10 players from the active roster gone since Monday.
They completely overhauled the roster, and I think, which we'll get into this a little bit more, and there's been some clamor about it with the Harper Manfred situation, and it's looking less and less like there's going to be baseball in 2027, and a big reason for it...
I'm going to put my head in the sand on that one.
Yep.
I just don't want to think about it.
A big reason for it is things like this.
I'm with Tucker.
The Twins are I believe, $400 million in debt, and they're...
Just win.
They're actively trying to sell the team currently And to do so, they're trying to get out of debt. And to do so, in order to do that, they have decided we don't care about the actual team. We don't care about the product on the field. We're dumping salary. And that's clearly what this was.
Poverty organizations
Obviously-
just ruin it for everybody. Sorry, Minnesota.
It's
true, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Shout out Rock Carew, but it's true.
Shout out Joe Mauer.
trading.
Yeah, shout out Joe Mauer.
I don't care if you're selling. I don't care if you're the Rockies or if you've won 0 games all season.
But the Rockies didn't even sell as bad
No,
as the Twins.
there should never be a moment in time where you have to sell 10 or where you trade 10 players on deadline day to contending teams. It's not even like
they went all over the
why
place. The
did
Twins, the 2025 postseason is brought to you by the Minnesota
And
Twins.
they
Does Carlos Correa play for again? No?
the Astros. He's back. Thank you.
Is he?
Yeah.
he is. He's back.
I knew that.
Yeah.
But Duran is a Philly.
Durant is they didn't even
Altuve
trade Joe
plays
Ryan.
behind him now, right?
Altuve's in left. Correa's playing
That's what I'm
third
saying.
base.
Altuve
Oh,
plays
he's playing
left field.
third.
How does he cover all that space?
Hey, Tucker. He's been opening day. He played left field. For the record,
But he
playing
doesn't
left
know.
field the whole
Sorry, I
year.
didn't watch the Astros on opening day. I was occupied.
You
I don't know.
also obviously haven't watched any game they played the entire year. He
Right,
played
has he
left
been in
field
left field
every
the whole
day.
year?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Jose Altuve moving to left was
Hi.
one of the bigger stories of the offseason.
In case you don't know me, I'm Tucker Austin. I'm a serial Jose Altuve hater and would rather not watch him play baseball ever, but the Yankees have to play the
Yeah,
Astros
that's
this year,
because you're
so
a
I
bum.
have to watch him for 3 games.
Jose Altuve haters aren't real. They're not real people.
Oh my God,
Buzzer.
You're in the room with two of
There's
them.
there's no reason to hate Jose Altuve.
Buzzer.
Okay, this is a trade deadline.
He
segment,
went
but
into
if we wanna
Judge's
get-
house, went on his mantle above his fireplace, and stole an MVP from him.
He didn't
Respectfully.
I'm sorry.
From his house, he had gloves. He had
I don't know if
robbery
we can have
gloves,
this.
he had
I don't know if we can
gloves
have this
on,
conversation on
and he
air.
stole
Some
the
things are going
MVP.
to come out of my mouth that just cannot
He
go on
stole
air.
it.
So I think we're going to have to move on from
What,
this
like what?
conversation.
Like,
Just like
robbery gloves.
words that would get us in a lot of trouble.
You see, they use bad words when they have no
No.
logic left.
You
in
know
their
what
argument.
should have gotten Jose Altuve in a lot of
Ho-
trouble?
Jose-
When he blatantly changed shirts and got rid of the buzzer under his jersey after he hit a home run.
No,
over
yeah.
Aroldis
You have
Chapman.
so much to
Oh my
say.
God.
No, but he had a tattoo,
Let's have
right?
an explanation for that. Why he's going
The
like
buzzers
this.
aren't real.
But no. I didn't say. I didn't say that. Barrett,
Don't
why
be
is-
a little John
Barrett,
Boy scumbag.
Barrett, no,
Don't
no.
do this.
Barrett.
Don't just
Why
ride
is he-
John Boy's
Barrett.
fake.
This is
No,
not-
no.
John Boy did not
Barrett,
come up with the
simple question.
buzzers.
Yes, he did.
I'm not admitting guilt at all.
John Boy
Barrett.
fabricated this story,
Barrett,
and
let
he is the biggest fraud
Barrett,
in
let
the
me-
entire
let me-
sports
let
world.
me
That
go.
guy deserves nothing
Barrett,
that he
I
has.
understand. I understand. Let's all.
I'm
let's
glad-
Let's take a couple seconds.
I'm glad we're hashing this out in
Let's
the
take a
Big
couple
25.
Because I want to get a fair. I want him to calm down and get a fair. Let's all take a second.
This happened 7 years
Let's
ago.
all relax. In 27 years,
Or
I'm gonna
actually,
care about
Thank-
that.
2019.
Hold
Hold on.
Griffin made a great
Hold
point.
on.
The Yankees also cheated.
Hold on, Griffin, Yankee fan back there. Get this guy out of the studio.
Choosing to cherry pick and ignore evidence.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like I'm going to hear an IFB, and if she's
Release
I'm
the
not.
letter. Release the letter.
Let me ask. Okay, ready?
Release the letter, Manfred.
All right, Barrett, really, just let me get you on this. As an Astro fan, you grew up in that vibe, grew up in, I would say that evil, but I don't want to be a bad guy.
Fair
You
enough.
grew up in that. Really, afterward, you watch the Altuve home run. It's a great moment. You're so happy. It's like the Aaron Boone home run. It really is. It has that vibe. It really, obviously, it's not Yankees,
Well,
Red
yeah,
Sox, but
and
whatever. It has
sent
that
him
vibe.
to the
Hold
World
on,
Series.
Hold on. So it has that vibe. When you see like the closing of the jersey, I'm not admitting guilt, anything. I'm just asking, what do you think that was? What do you think in your head? What was he doing?
He didn't want a shirt ripped off.
Right. Okay. So you're delusional. I got it.
So you think the buzzers are real?
So you think he cared about? No, let me finish. Because I see you about it. Keep going. Let me finish. You think he cared about his shirt? Ripping when he just hit a walk-off home run to go to the World Series. That's the logic that you live under.
okay, all
right. That's it. That's all I needed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I just
Thank you.
I just want to
Thank you.
outside of John Boy Media, what evidence?
It's not John Boy. It's I saw it. I'm watching it.
What evidence?
What do you mean
for the
evidence?
buzzer
I'm
is
watching
there?
it.
The buzzer has no.
What evidence is there to there not being a buzzer? Because I haven't heard anything from you yet. What
Literally-
is there evidence to it not being? Because you keep saying what is there
There
evidence
have been
for?
so many in-depth investigations. Jeff Passan did a whole thing on this where he investigated it and he said there's no proof, there's no evidence that a buzzer ever existed.
But
no
was there ever an explanation as to what Altuve was doing?
He had a tattoo that was bad.
Got it. So we changed. So we didn't want
That's
to rip
my
the jersey
favorite.
at first,
Didn't wanna
and
show-
That's
now
my
now it's a
favorite.
tattoo. What? You have a
Nothing
third one?
changed.
You have a
No,
third one?
Nothing
Is
changed.
there a fourth as well?
There's no evidence that the buzzers existed, and I know right now all you're
I know
trying
you
to do
keep
is
saying
wind
that,
me
but
up.
I keep.
I
no.
know all you're trying to do is wind me up, and you don't actually believe this. I know that. I know it, and it.
Got it. I'm getting an
so we're
IFB.
gonna
I just
move-
heard a third one that his wife didn't want him taking his shirt off on TV.
Yeah.
That's the
well,
third.
no, that's
the third
hang on,
excuse.
no. That was part of the tattoo thing. His wife was embarrassed about
so
the
it's
tattoo
all,
that he got,
got
and
it.
so he
Again,
was like,
all
"No."
this
You know
going
what?
through as
Here's
he's
the-
rounding
here's the
third
thing.
on.
I watched 4 straight 100-loss seasons. I don't care
On.
that. I'm
As
happy
he's
they
rounding
cheated.
third, all
The
these
city
things
of
are in his
Houston
head.
Was
All these
50
things are in his
feet
head. My wife's
underwater.
gonna be mad at
I don't
me.
care
The
if they
shirt's gonna
cheated.
get ripped. All
You
this
know
stuff's
what?
in his as Chapman's
I'm
smiling
glad
on the
they
mound.
cheated. I'm glad they cheated. Okay, I don't care. The city
we
of
broke
Houston
'em.
was
We
50
broke 'em.
feet
Ladies and
underwater.
gentlemen, we broke 'em.
won a World
Ladies and
Series for that
gentlemen,
city.
we broke 'em.
I don't care.
Ladies and gentlemen, we broke them.
Who
You're happy
cares?
they cheated. Okay.
They won a World
All right.
Series again in 22. I couldn't care less. If
Again,
they
I
cheated.
can't.
I
I
wish
can't
they
agree
still
with you.
cheated to this. I hope
I can't
Correa
agree with
brings
you.
it back.
I
So-
can't agree with you.
I hope
Clear-
Correa cheats
clearly,
more.
Evan Gaddis should have to return his World Series ring. I feel
Evan
like.
Gaddis
You
was
know
a
it's-
janitor in Atlanta. He shouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah, well,
What was he doing in that lineup? That was like the most
Oh,
confusing thing ever.
waiting on speed when he heard the garbage.
El
can. That's what he was doing.
Blanco. That guy was playing baseball in the Dominican for like 6 years as a janitor from like Atlanta. He was broke, and then he made it to the World Series and won one.
Again, so you have a sob story, so it means you can cheat now
I'll
at the
tell-
highest
I'll
level.
tell-
That's what that means.
Again, also, I don't care that I wish they still cheated to this day. I wish they cheated in 2019 so we would have actually won some games at home.
Yeah, because you can't win some games at home if you don't cheat. Is the logic you're going on?
I
there.
guess
Ah!
not. I guess not.
I-
We actually have not.
I'll tell you what.
Come
on.
The Astros actually have not won a game at home in the World Series since 2017.
I'll tell you guys
Is
one
there
thing.
a reason for that? Is it because they're maybe
yeah,
not
the
cheating
batter's
anymore?
eye was really bad and they couldn't hit.
Got it. Got it.
Our
got it.
our 90.7.
Yeah, actually, no. That's a good point. They didn't even wait. They didn't even win games at home in the 2017 World Series. They won the World Series in LA.
So you're saying
In
because they weren't
2017.
good enough at cheating that it shouldn't count?
They didn't even cheat in the playoffs.
Because they weren't good enough to cheat and win. That
There's
means that it
actual
shouldn't
proof
count.
that Altuve
The
didn't even
cheating
use
doesn't
the
matter. As
system
long
to
as
go
if they
back to
cheat
the-
successfully, that's what matters. If they
Yes!
cheat and they're unsuccessful,
No,
Yes!
cheating doesn't matter.
Why do you think no one cares that the
But if
Yankees
you
cheated?
have
So if a
haven't-
guy takes
Why?
PEDs,
Wait, no. Why
if
do you
you
think no
own
one
an
cares that the
Apple
Yankees
Watch-
cheated?
No, because that's not a good comparison. A good
No,
comparison.
because they didn't win anything.
A good comparison.
No one cares because they didn't win
A
anything.
good comparison. Well, and also wasn't as obvious. It wasn't obvious and blatant, and also the evidence just was not as insurmountable as it was for
no,
Houston.
if it was so blatant, why did no one know until Mike Fires came out and told everyone?
No.
No one knew about it
People
until
knew.
Fires.
People
They
knew.
had an
That's what you're
idea that
lying.
something
You're
might be
lying.
going on.
Because
I feel like
in the clip
my-
of Evan Gaddis, that original clip, in the regular season in 2017, in that game, whether it's White Sox or whoever it is, where
Yeah.
the banging is the most egregious, the pitcher is picking up on it in real
Well, that guy
time.
sucked. You know what my favorite thing was?
Yeah.
This
He
is
sucks.
This is kind of off. This
Mike
is off topic.
Fires.
The guy who's
He does suck.
The guy who sued
I think
the
it was Fires,
Astros
right?
because they put up like 15 runs on him in his first MLB start and he never played in the MLB again, so he sued the Astros. I think that was really funny because that's just ultimate soft loser mentality.
This is so many grifter points that he just has memorized because when
It was
legitimate
Fires.
points
Good,
come at him.
Good pull.
Thank you. Well, it was you, so I don't know why you said thank.
Well, you
good
said
pull.
Fires, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Fires.
No, you
I
said
know it was
Fires.
Fires. That guy's the biggest rat scum in the entire world.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
I can.
He
Now
came
we
out-
can agree
he
on
came out and
something.
blew the whistle on the Astros, and then every time he was scheduled to pitch against the Astros for the rest of his career, he suddenly had an injury.
Okay, wait, all right.
Oh well, that makes
He's a
perfect
scared
sense.
little soft
I'm
little
loving-
baby.
Yeah, because I don't want to pitch against guys who are using trash cans to communicate my pitches to the guys
And
at the plate.
if I could bottle the energy Barrett has right now and keep it just for really important shows, because you are fantastic right now. But let me just say, on a closing point, why specifically with Garrett, all these guys, whether they come in as a starter or they come in midway through the year, all these guys who pitch in Houston, what black magic do they got going on over there?
I'm gonna be honest.
That's all legitimate?
The Yankees do the same thing.
Really?
The Yankees.
Because then why did Garrett go down so? Why did Garrett's numbers go down so much initially coming to the Bronx if it's the same with the Yankees as the Astros? It
Well,
feels
no,
almost as if
so-
one's not cheating
but
as
here's what-
much.
here's what I
When
say.
Garrett
he's
Cole
feeling
got to
it.
the Yankees, was it still Larry Rothschild?
It was 2020.
Here's what I
yeah,
hear from
think
Yankees
so.
fans all the time.
Whoa.
All I hear from Yankees fans all the time is how great their pitching lab is and how
That's
like,
why.
magical their pitching coaching staff is. Like that's all I hear is how great their pitching staff.
Who are you talking to?
Matt Blake is
Yankees
like
fan. All I hear
pretty
about
good.
is how Matt Blake is like the second coming of Jesus.
he's pretty good. The
I
thing is, he's
know-
good at turning young talent into MLB level
I
pitching.
couldn't
That's
name.
why.
I
He's
couldn't
in the
name.
Astros.
I couldn't. It would take me one hand to name all the Yankee fans in my life I know that could even recognize Matt Blake.
Oh, recognize?
Yeah.
No, they'll know him by name.
Who cares what he
but
looks
like,
Or know who he is. If I
that's
asked
the thing. People like Yankee fans used
under
to know
8
who Larry
Yankee fans in my
Rothschild
life
was
would know who
because
the pitching coach
was
of
a
the Yankees is.
problem.
Like that's not a you're making that that's not a point Yankee fans use.
Either way,
You're making that up.
No, I like. Trust me. All I see from Yankees fans on Twitter is Matt
All
Blake.
you see, who? Cole is king. That's not fair.
I don't care what their username is. I
No,
don't
that's
care.
the Cutter is king counterpart.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
just-
know who he is. There's also a Rodon is king now as well.
Sure there
But
is.
is that a Cutter Crawford fan account?
yes, it is.
Oh,
But aside from that, on a completely different.
We were
note,
talking deadline for the record.
Yeah,
This
Yeah,
is-
on a completely different note. Well, sort of
I
not.
was about to say I don't think it's going to be on a completely different note.
Yeah,
The
just
reason
one
the
one thing
Astros-
from that.
the
All
reason the
nobody
Astros are
is
so
sleeping on
good at-
90.7
Are
FM.
so good at turning kind of
Cheating.
average major league pitchers into very good pitchers is because of they're so heavily invested in the analytics department, and they go get guys who have like really good underlying numbers. That's why like Dylan Cease would have been a great pickup because his underlying numbers are so great, and guys who are like I'm not sure how versed you are in it, but like horizontal break, induced vertical break, all those like
Yeah.
kind of nerdy numbers that old heads don't like. Is that and spin and spin axis, tilt
Right.
axis, all that stuff. They go get guys who have really great like stuff
Mm-hmm.
that maybe don't have the control and they do like mechanical things, or they take maybe a guy has a like really high spin rate on his curveball or really like great IVB on his fastball, and they add pitches that complement that. Like Christian Javier throws 92 miles an hour, but when he first came up, his fastball was so great because the combination between his knuckle curve and the IVB of his fastball was so different that his fastball did that and his curveball did that, so it made the fastball look faster. And so they do the small things, and they're very good at picking that up. And I don't think it's any different than necessarily what the Dodgers are able to do, or the Yankees are able to do. 'Cause
Tucker,
the
am I
Yankees,
the only one that's picking up on the amount of defensiveness that's coming from this guy? It feels like he's committed.
you asked me a
crime.
question. You asked me a question.
No,
I'm trying
but
to
just
answer the
how
question.
specific you're getting and how it seems.
All right. Well, I was just trying to nerd out for a little bit.
No,
with
At
the
this
boys,
point,
but-
for me, Chris,
Let me
I-
finish. The nerding out is fantastic. Again, as I said, you've been when you're passionate about something, Barrett, it's fantastic. What I'm saying is you're using it as a defense for what I said. That's what I'm calling legitimate. The actual content is more than legitimate, obviously.
I don't know. I feel like we've already.
And I appreciated the analytical.
Chris,
stuff.
we've already won.
No, I know I've won. I got him to yell that he was glad they cheated. Like I obviously won. I'm just saying.
It's
you know what?
over.
The
I
one
was
thing
trying
I
to
will
get him
say-
to go
the
one
one
more
thing I
time.
will
He's already
say is
dead,
I've
Chris.
been pretty adamant basically since it happened that I don't really care that they cheated because they won. I think it would have been a lot more hurtful if they hadn't won.
Chris, if
After
the
they
Yankees
cheated.
won the World Series doing a similar thing to the
Would you
Astros,
care?
would we really care?
No, because it's
No,
the
you
evil
might-
empire. It
exactly,
feels like
you
a whole
don't
different
care.
thing. Let me finish it
Why
off on a
can't we
good
be the
note.
evil
On a
empire
happy
for a little
note. Barrett, on a happy note. Not even a happy note, but just a way where we can all agree with each other. You cast your mind to being a Yankee fan, a Dodger fan, one of these fan bases that hates the Astros. Just like do it for a second. Ready? If you were to do that and look at the core guys that you grew up with from 17 on, like those guys who are really competing every year,
15.
who do you think?
Mm.
Okay.
I'm a believer
No, it
that
wasn't. No,
I know you won a wild card
started
game in the
in
Bronx.
15.
I know you
Hey,
won a
yeah,
wild card
yeah,
game
we
in the
did.
Bronx.
That's the
Shut
start.
up.
That's the start. That's the start of it.
Okay.
Correa's rookie
I'm
year.
sorry, Griffin. I keep doing that. Who would have been the guy if you cast your mind into that space that you could have seen yourself being like, I would have hated this.
Oh,
guy.
this did start with hating Jose Altuve. I kind of forgot about that.
So you
The answer would be Altuve
why?
because
Go on, expand.
I mean, because
As an Astro fan, expand.
because he's the guy who hits all the home runs in the postseason, and he's.
Oh my God, you're an evil guy.
No, okay, so the
I
actual.
hate him because he's so good. I just like, come on, dude, really?
I mean, it's been
He's
proven
not
that
hateable in any way.
he's 5'4".
Oh my God, so now
That's
that's
like-
not why I hate
That's
him.
part of
dude.
the reason why I hate him. His strike zone is too small.
That's not why. See, that's not my thing.
Yeah, but who cares if he
It's not my
strikes out?
movement.
He'll swing at a ball 7 feet over his head. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter where a strike zone is.
That's the problem. He swings at a ball 7 inches over his head. Why does he swing at that pitch? Oh,
it goes
because he
out.
knows it's coming.
Because it's.
Should I come in next time? Bear, next time we're doing the show together, I'm coming in one of those Rob Lowe Astro hats that has the asterisk instead of the star. He
All right.
loves that. He's pushing that for
How's that?
years.
How, is he actually?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he
a-
wore it on Rogan.
So
I thought Rob Lowe was like a neutral
Also,
party.
I'm loving just like because I know how much he's hating this.
Yeah,
so I'm just,
I I feel like we need to probably move
Does he
on.
just wear MLB hats to games?
Yeah,
Like
he
I saw him wearing a
He wears
hat just had an
NFL
NFL
Oh,
crest.
yeah, he was wearing
to
the
a
umpire.
Niners
He's wearing
game.
the ref hat. Yeah, go on.
I do think we need to move on a little bit
Yes.
from this.
But
Yeah.
Barrett, that was
Unfortunately,
fantastic.
in
If
our
you're
last
ending the
segment,
segment though, Speedway Classic tonight, the MLB attendance record will be set this evening at 7:15.
I've been playing all my Diamond Dynasty ranked home games there.
Over-
It's fun. It's a good time.
Over 85,000 fans in the Bristol Motor Speedway to watch the Reds and Braves.
That
I'm
is-
so excited.
that is super electric. The one thing I did want to say is,
AKA the Chaffordini Classic. Let's just
True,
get that.
true.
Yeah.
Go on.
in our final segment, you will probably get a little more opportunity to talk about what we were just talking
I'm
about.
sure I will.
There will be maybe some mentions of the
Tease it a little bit.
2017
What are we doing?
Astros. Oh, what are we doing? Just a little bit of one season wonder Mount Rushmore, a little bit of ball knowledge with the boys.
Oh.
Little ball knowledge with the boys.
Here we go.
Yeah, there may be some 2017 Astros mentioned in
there
one
may
season.
be some relatively recent some recent names,
They
some
might
recent
be
years
striked
in
from the
here.
record, depending
Yeah,
on
I
Barrett's argument.
just for your information, there is an asterisk next to him.
If
Okay?
they had a
I have
track-
an asterisk
Do
on
you
here.
I need to see it. Turn around.
I think I do.
Dude, it's Astros fans. They
And
can't
if
get
it's
away
there,
from
we
Yeah, I
need to
do.
sh-
And the reason it was there is because I didn't know if I would.
Can you make
be
it
able to
bigger? Can you make it like way
Sorry,
bigger?
Sorry, sorry.
Because I need to show you. I need you to show it to the camera as well.
I'm gonna bring a trash
Can
can
you
the
see
next
that?
time I'm on with Barrett.
I do.
I don't know if the camera can see this.
Can the camera?
Don't
pick
wait.
up on that?
Don't spoil your picks.
Oh, true.
You're right.
I just wanted the Ash. I just wanted that.
I'll show
yes,
the camera later.
when we do the segment.
Yeah. Okay. Now I need to. But anyways, that will close out our. This was an MLB trade deadline segment for anyone who wasn't following along and maybe wasn't listening the most intently.
Hey,
this
all,
was an
all
MLB
lines
trade
all
deadline
lines were in the water at the trade deadline. That's all you need to know, according to Aaron Boone.
It's right there.
segment. Yeah, whatever that means. All right.
It's right there.
We're gonna move on from the MLB here and move into the sport that will be coming up next, and that is the NFL. The NFL Hall of Fame game that officially kicks off the NFL season was on Thursday between the Chargers and the Lions. We'll talk a little bit about that on the other side of the break, as well as just kind of general NFL thoughts and what we expect from this season maybe. And then after that, we'll get into a little bit more local Giants and Jets talk. But on the other side of this break, we've got NFL Hall of Fame game.
It's WFUV New York, member-supported public media from Fordham University. On air, online, and always commercial-free.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the five boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
Welcome back here to 90.7 WFUV Sports. We're going to talk a little bit of football. Yeah, it's that time of year.
I can't believe
we are
football's back.
We are into August. It is now football season, kind of, sort of. The Hall of Fame game was on Thursday, as I mentioned, between the Chargers and the Lions. And, you know, some people might say, hey, one-on-one crew, why are you talking about the Hall of Fame game? Did any of you watch it? My answer to that would be, you don't need to know what I watch.
Trey Lance plays for the Chargers?
That's what I watch in my personal time. Is
you know what?
mine.
You want to give Barrett a problem. You want to give Barrett problems for like maybe not watch. I'm sure all of us watched the entire game, four
I
quarters
watched
straight
every
through.
single snap.
But
Can you name an inductee this year?
regardless,
Ooh, can I? Ooh.
I bet no one listening right now, or at least 99% of the people listening right now, found out exactly when we all found out that Trey Lance was on the Chargers.
Hey, I actually knew that because John Harbaugh said on Monday that Trey Lance was going to play 2 quarters and 1 drive in the third.
Oh, wow.
And then he played more than
John's
that.
talking about his
So
brother's
actually, it was
teams
out
now?
there.
Come on.
no.
Got him. Got him.
Jim Harbaugh, sorry.
Sorry.
Jim Harbaugh said he was going to play 1 drive in the third quarter, and then he played like
Did you have to
12
step
minutes
over
of-
him after Chris?
Yeah.
he played like 12 minutes.
Jammed on him and
You
stepped
got
right
my
over
number
him.
today.
I Chris
got my
Dudley'd
number
you
today.
into the front row.
Yeah.
Is that his first name, Chris? Bad look
Don't know,
for
the
the
top
rest
of my
of
head.
us. The rest of us, Chris's. Go on.
Damn, there goes
Yeah.
the clip, Chris. Thanks.
I don't know.
Thought that added to the
Sold
clip.
the
but that's
clip.
fine.
Sold the clip. NFL Hall of Fame game. You know, it's the first preseason game. There's not a whole lot to take away from that. Not a whole lot of starters.
It's more talking about the landscape.
But yeah, I do want to say that Trey Lance actually did look pretty good.
Yeah, he
He's
did
a
look
good.
good.
He's a good quarterback. That's the thing that kind of gets lost in translation with a lot of these guys, especially a guy like Trey. It's like he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, you're
I
on first
can't
name
believe-
basis with him.
I can't believe
When
I
I,
can't
say
believe-
the name
well,
multiple
I
times
guess
in a
you know what?
sentence, I'll,
Yeah,
he got
I'll
hurt.
shorten a Trey later.
Like I was trying to think, like I can't believe Brock Purdy was just that much better than Trey Lance, and it's like no, he wasn't. He was just the only quarterback that the Niners had available because
do
both their
think he
QBs
is.
got hurt.
I think he's better than Trey Lance. I
He
do.
probably is, but again, like this is a guy who got
the guy who
thrust
just got
into
the
a
max
starting
deal is
role.
probably better than
Yeah.
Trey Lance.
But he got thrust into a starting role out of nowhere. Like they didn't know if that was going to pan out or not. It was an emergency scenario.
And it did.
And then Trey Lance, turns out he's actually
What, on
pretty
his fourth?
decent.
He's on. Well, I don't.
Again, guys, you might be
Again, I think you're overreacting.
I have no idea. That
there
was
was not
my
a
biggest
single,
point.
There was not a single starter that played for the Lions.
I was going to say I have no
Chargers-
idea how many starters did play for either team. Like,
The
it was probably
Lions-
just
the
backups
Lions-
both sides.
The Lions' backups played the first quarter. The
Hmm.
starters didn't play a single snap. The backups played the first quarter, and then it was 3s and 4s for the rest of the game.
You were making jokes about how now it's football season, even though it's still very much summer. But I do feel like the Chargers are a playoff team this year.
I think so.
I don't know why I don't know why I prefaced it with something that didn't
Probably
relate.
if their offense, like obviously, like again, it was mostly second string guys and then third and fourth string as the game went on defense for the Lions. But if the Chargers, if their scheme, I
the LA
mean,
ifers.
we do work in we work in hypotheticals here.
Well, I don't know how active you are on NFL Twitter, but that is kind of the meme that's been associated with the Chargers over the last couple years since Herbert's come in.
Herbert is the
it's
best
always-
quarterback
it's a
in
what
the
if.
NFL on paper.
Yeah, on paper, on paper, he should have like 6 or 7 MVPs.
Yeah.
On paper, the Chargers should have 3 or 4 Super Bowls. On paper,
but if their scheme, just plug all of your starters into where everybody was playing last night for the Chargers on offense, if Harbaugh's scheme works like that during the entire regular season, I 100% agree with Chris. I think they're a playoff team.
I think also one of the legitimate takeaways that you can actually make from this game is the fact that the Lions are in desperate need of a backup quarterback. Everyone they put out there, from
they played
Hendon
Kyle Allen
and Hendon Hooker both looked dreadful against backups. And if Goff were to go down, there's going to be a lot of people who put some futures bets on the Lions to win the Super Bowl very unhappy because
I don't know why you would put a futures bet in before training camp. But more
there's
power to
better
you.
odds.
People like money, yeah. People
There's
like
better
money.
You put your futures
okay.
bets in like a year before.
There are better
you want the
odds.
odds.
Tell me the Eagles were unpredictable to win the Super Bowl last year. You could have predicted them pre-training
Exactly.
camp.
Yeah. You put in the odds as soon as your
and the
futures
Eagles
bet,
were
as soon as those odds
built
come out.
last year. Though.
Everybody's at good odds pre-training camp.
Yeah.
Even Mahomes and them, I think you're probably.
This year, I don't know. Like last year, I think someone could confidently say the Eagles and get it right. But this year, I don't think you could really
Chiefs.
I don't know, man. Jalen Hurts
I
is
don't
better than
even
Cam
know.
Newton ever was. I don't know. Yeah,
What?
you probably aren't as chronically online as I am. That's a debate that is going on Twitter right now.
It's the dumbest
Is
thing
that
I've ever heard.
Jalen Hurts is
better
than Cam Newton ever was at his peak?
The intricacies of the words you use there, ever was, is that really makes it dumb. Like, it's dumb, but
yeah.
that really makes it dumb because even in New England, we played. Cam Newton played a game against the Seahawks when he was playing for the Patriots, and they had a chance to win the game with the ball on the 1-yard line. I was shaking, terrified of Cam Newton. It just felt like whatever he wanted, he could get, and that felt even more prevalent, obviously, in 2015 when he was.
2015, Cam Newton is one of the greatest football players to ever touch a football.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts is
good.
a good quarterback.
Good.
He's not a top 5 quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Name me 5 better.
Mahomes,
Sure.
Burrow,
Sure.
Josh Allen,
Sure.
Lamar Jackson,
Sure.
Justin Herbert.
Guy who's played in multiple Super Bowls and won one against a guy who's never played again in a playoff game. That seems.
Chris,
I have a question.
That's like
I have a
people
question.
saying Phillip Rivers was better than Eli Manning back in the day. It's like you might be right technically, but you're not.
I have a question. If you took Jared Goff,
You know what I mean?
if you took Jared Goff and you put him on this Eagles team, do you think they still win the Super Bowl?
I think that's the laziest argument. But also I think that.
But like, as a quarterback,
it's a lazy argument.
It's a pretty lazy
Chris,
argument.
as a Seahawks fan, why were you so scared of Patriots Cam Newton?
Because he was terrifying and an offensive,
Really?
just a physical threat. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Joe wanted to know.
Oh, why?
He might. Oh, here he
Oh,
comes.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. I guess I'm.
Yeah,
there
he was terrifying to me. And to
No. See, this is you're remembering it in a certain way. I don't know why I'm not even doing it. You know, this is subconscious of me. That game, was it week 1 that year? I think
week
it was
2.
It was week 2.
Don't forget it.
You can't tell me the hype train. I know there was a DK 70-yard bomb to start that game, but you cannot tell me the Cam hype train wasn't at
Griffin
11.
just wanted you to know that he was less scared of a newborn baby than he was of New England.
See, this
Cam
is
Newton.
but that's again, he's trying to pile on and be funny. But if you really were watching, if you were really there, you know.
Were
you
you
can't
there?
see on camera.
I
but
was.
Griffin is losing his mind in the booth.
Psychologically, physically, he was probably at the game physically, even though it was COVID, so I don't think he was there. But I do think
Quote, we started that game that year 5-0. We were a great team. End quote.
we were a great team, even though it was like
Griffin,
the
you
worst
know
5-0
the
team in
producer
history of
mic
the
works
NFL.
now, right? Not that mic, but mic 3, and then turn it on.
Really could have an argument for the worst 5-0 team in the history of the NFL. But I do think in that game, because again,
I
all
don't
of
know,
this
the
is going to the
Vikings were like
contrary. Let me finish.
11-0.
All going to the contrary. Cam Newton,
Were
with
you
his
sticking around,
physicality,
Joe?
the wide receiver game wasn't what it meant to be. Even the running game wasn't necessarily great. Patriots were in a place of transition. Cam, just as an athlete in the backfield, it was 1 yard he had to get, and he was standing there. In my life, I had never felt that a quarterback was just going to go get the yards for his team, and I never had that sort of fear. I'm just speaking on my feelings. Again, they all can get delegitimized by the rest of you, but
Your
these are just my
feelings
feelings.
are valid.
well, everything you've done over the last 4 minutes is said to the contrary, but it's fine. And when he was lined up at the 1 yard line in the shotgun, I'm like, there's a really good chance this guy's just going to run in, and no one on our team, whether it's Jamal Adams, whether it's whoever, Bobby Wagner, no one's going to be able to stop it because he's just a force. And that was the point I was trying to get across when people were saying that at any point Jalen Hurts is better than any Cam Newton.
What
is a
happened
ludicrous
on that
thing
play?
to say. He doesn't get in.
All right.
Yeah, the Seahawks stop him. But is that the Seahawks' fault for getting a stop? Is that?
What is this?
Is that an issue?
Griffin's
also,
like
he has a
showing
rushing
us.
touchdown in that game, Joe. He does. You can't gaslight. He has a rushing touchdown in that game.
I can't tell if Griffin's
Yeah.
trying to rage bait us from behind the glass or not.
I'm not even watching.
Also, one more point. One more point, maybe to Chris's point here is.
And your point of 2015 is obviously valid.
Did Cam Newton not also, as a Patriot, have like a game where he had like 4 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah.
I'm
Wait,
pretty
let
sure
me
that
just let me look at his that
Might be worth
that
a
year's
look.
stat.
Either way, Chris Collinsworth mentioned Patrick Mahomes in the first quarter
you for getting
of
us
the Hall
back
of
on
Fame
track.
game.
Tucker was loving that.
Hey man, like
Yeah, Tucker loves a little Chris Collinsworth Mahomes mention.
dude, he's something else, man.
It,
He really
for
did,
context,
never
it was,
fails to amaze.
It was a Trey Lance 5-yard check down.
And that was the second clip I saw. There was a different clip. I don't even think he was talking about Trey Lance. There was a point when I think he was talking about the running back who was in for the Chargers.
Yes.
I'm forgetting who he was.
By the way,
He had a great game, by the way. Their rushing attack was really good, even though it was second stringers. We keep coming back to that. But still, I think execution is execution. And at the bottom line is the Chargers executed play after play, and the Lions were mentally checked out of this game. There were so many mistakes. Even the opening kickoff. How are we fumbling the opening kickoff of the 25-26 season? First ball that was touched in the entire year, and it's on the turf.
Yeah. Probably the only good thing you can take away from the Lions here is that rookie Isaac Tesla
Mm-hmm.
spelled with a capital S and a capital T and 2 A's at the end.
What?
I'll probably never learn how to pronounce that. I'm assuming it's Tesla.
Wait, so
It's
T lowercase e.
No, it's capital T, lowercase e, capital S, L-A-A.
Tesla? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't really care, to be honest. But he looked great. He looked. I'm not great, but he looked very
Hopefully it doesn't break out this year.
good. He looked very. If he breaks out, kind of like Brett Favre, no one knew how to pronounce his name for like his first 4
that's
years
true.
of his career. And then they finally learned when he was good. So when he's good, I'll learn his name.
by the way, Cam Newton went 30 for 44 for 400 yards in the game I'm talking about, for the record. And Griffin Stevenson said he'd be more afraid of a newborn baby. That's fine.
To Griffin's
That
point,
works.
I may have put
and a rushing touchdown in that game.
I may have
too.
put a couple of words in Griffin's mouth.
He
on the
went
newborn
11
baby
for
thing, but-
50 yards rushing in that game for 2 rushing touchdowns. Longest was 15 yards, and he averaged 5 yards a carry in that game. But yeah, no, I shouldn't have been. I should have been.
We're getting really passionate on this show.
No,
about
I'm
things
just.
that
It's just
happened over
insane
5
that I'll
years
get
ago.
delegitimized into saying my feelings at the time
And I
were
like how-
invalid, even though objectively they were valid.
I like how
that's fine.
I like how it was about the Hall of Fame game, but since the Chargers beat the Lions 34-7, we just started talking about a game
Well,
that happened 5 years ago.
Cam Newton was brought up by our wonderful
Right,
handsome
right,
host.
Yeah, well, we started talking about the Eagles, but regardless of that, Hall of Fame game, football's back. Yay! One thing that actually is quite interesting, that we saw for the first time debuted in the Hall of Fame game was the NFL's Hawkeye system, or being used to mark first downs. The chain gang will no longer be incorporated into the NFL.
Well, I think they're still there, but this season they're just not they're not who they're going to primarily. They're there in case the system fails.
They weren't there on Thursday, so
Oh.
I don't know if that's going to be a thing all the time. So obviously the first down markers will still be there.
Mhm.
Just the chains between them will not be.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'm not sure if the chains will be there or not, but essentially what it is it's just using like the same system as the tennis. uses.
Yeah.
Moving past medieval technology.
Yeah,
is
but
what
to be honest.
Rest in peace, the chain gang, man.
To be honest, I'm not sure how much it's going to change anything because
it won't.
The biggest factor in spotting of the ball is the actual spotting of the ball.
Oh, just nobody's gonna believe it. Is the problem?
It's still up to a referee's eye as to where the ball goes. So whether or not you use a camera algorithm versus chains, the chains were 10 yards.
You'll be able to see the ball on the field, but without bringing the chains out to physically see the
well, not even that.
The gap.
It's a lot of it is right. Receiver catches the ball, gets tackled, gives the ball to the ref. The ref then has to put the ball down where he saw the ball spot land. Very rarely is that perfect. right?
Oh yeah,
Because
no,
that
I'm
is
not
still
saying
up
in
to
any
human
way
error.
is that
And
like
so
perfect.
whether or not you're measuring 10 yards with, a tape measure, a laser, cameras, math, or actual physical metal chain links, 10 yards is 10 yards, but it's still going to come down to whether or not the ref spots the ball in the correct place, which has always been the controversy anyways.
Wow. I just looked up. I was like, how many times a season are the chains brought out to measure?
It's not that often.
It's 12 times a week.
But yeah, I figured it was like
that's way
pretty
more. I thought it was like
solidly
12
often.
times a year.
Well, because if it's
you
close
don't know.
enough, you're not going to eyeball it. If it's
No,
within
but
a
they're
yard, you
saying-
probably bring out the chains.
Yeah, they're saying they needed the chains 12 times a week. I mean, how many games is in a week? 15, 14? Like that's almost it's almost once a game. That's
Yeah,
insane.
but so like also the thing is though, like what I'm trying to say is it's not really going to change anything. Like the way you measure it, sure, maybe it's a little bit more like
it doesn't change anything
technology area,
concrete about
but
the
like,
game.
The actual result isn't going to change because the ball is going to get spotted in the same place whether you're using chains or camera.
What's going to change is people's trust in the system overall. Because right now it is very easy to trust a chain gang system where you physically see that the chain is a little bit further, regardless of where they place it or how correct the placement of the ball is, because you're never going to be able to fix that.
You got to put a chip in the ball. And that's I'm a
that would
proponent of
be
putting a chip in the ball, and that's what I think you should do. But
it would be something. But I mean, I come from the camp in Major League Baseball where I think human umpire should stick around because I think human error for the referee is a part of the game and should be dealt with by the players in step and not completely ripped out of the game. I feel like it's part of the game. The ref doesn't always see everything. Sometimes he lets a holding go. You're not going to have like an AI ref call every holding under the sun because then there would be a flag every play.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that more so on the holding and the actual penalty side of the game versus the spot of the ball.
But like so they'll show the animation, right? They'll show like the Hawkeye animation with like an animated image of the ball on the field, and then they'll show the line like they do for like VAR in the Premier League. Man, I don't even think they show the animation because this is the reason why. Who's going to watch an animation play out on the Jumbotron and honestly trust that that is where the ball was? Or that is how far the distance line was?
Yeah.
Like, all the NFL has to do is bump the little animated ball back like a couple of pixels, and then the Chiefs get a first down.
Yeah. No, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think this does anything. It'll maybe look a little fancier and technological on the screen, but
if anything, it'll make the pace of the game a little bit faster in those moments.
I think that was the main.
But there's gonna be a mental and emotional disconnect.
From what I read, it did speed the game up. It from like those stoppages going from like a minute long to like 25 seconds.
And there was
real quick, but
this is more quality of life. But like there was a moment of suspense when the chain gang is brought out. Yeah. They're running across the field. They set up the one chain where the line of scrimmage was originally at the start of the series, and then like that guy walks out with the other chain, and it's getting a little bit like he's losing slack. He's losing a little bit more slack. The ball's right there. I don't know if it's going to get there, and then the back end sticks out. It's a little bit further short, or back end pulls tight, and the ball is just barely past it. That's like a moment of theater in football that you're now going to lose because it's just going to be everyone staring at the Jumbotron, animation plays, and then anticlimax.
Thank you. Yeah, anticlimax is probably also what you're thinking about this segment. We somehow managed to get almost 20 minutes out of the NFL Hall of Fame game.
Also,
it became general NFL,
just
so
to
I
bring
think
it
that's
to
okay.
the game right at the end, DJ Yuga.
DJU?
From
DJ
Uyagalele.
got NFL tick. NFL tick. Why are you both looking at me like that? He got NFL time. Did we talk about this already?
Oh, time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't.
Tick.
I've never
TikTok.
heard. I've never heard tick short as a short nickname for time.
Yeah.
Somebody.
He got some run.
Nobody back him up.
All right. Yeah.
I forgot there was an uncool guy behind me. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, you got whatever's going on in the booth today.
What a Hall of Fame segment.
I think we'll probably wrap up our Hall of Fame talk right there. Our Hall of Fame game talk right there. On the other side of this break, we'll have Giants and Jets, all things training camp, maybe a little bit of outlook on the season. We'll see what's going on. But on the other side, Giants and Jets.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spritzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hey guys, Grace McCarron here with Jack Warner.
And we're two of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's one and only baseball podcast,
We'll keep you in the loop on all tri-state news with the Yankees and Mets.
as well as the biggest headlines from around the MLB.
Catch weekly episodes of Nosebleeds on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases with Nosebleeds on WFUV Sports.
Welcome back. We have a little bit of football talk for the local teams. For all y'all who are real interested in Giants and Jets training camp and all the drama, the story, the suspense that goes into training camp. We've got that here for you, that you're in the right spot. Tucker, I'll let you start us off. What are your takeaways from the last? I guess we're officially 1 week.
It's the first week,
You're
yeah.
in an electric mood right now. I don't know what it is, but
It's the first week of training.
First
camp.
week of
It's
training
football
camp, man.
season.
Day 8 was yesterday. Day 8 of practice.
I have a question. It was day 8 for the Giants, but I'm pretty sure it was
Was
only
it
day 7 for the Jets.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or I'm just really bad at research.
these are the things
May-
that matter, people.
May-
It could be that I
These
just,
are the
it could be
things.
that
How
I
many
don't know how to
days
read
have
articles.
they been practicing? But yeah, first week of
For
training
both
camp.
teams, I don't know if it'll matter too much. to be
Oddly
honest.
enough, normally it's not a week when there's a lot of news.
I think Tucker and I are both somewhat high on the Giants.
Oh yeah, I'm
That's-
very high. I think the Giants are in a better position than the Jets. I said so
I
last
think
week,
so, too.
and I still think that's the
I feel
case.
like- but I mean, they have a quarterback at least. The Jets have Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor. So like,
Yeah,
there's,
and actually, there's something funny about that, but I don't know if we're like starting with Giants,
As
so
an out-of-market fan,
might save that.
I just love to hear the superiority of either team over the other when they're both just so garbage all the time.
Oh,
that's
dude.
a great point.
All the
That's the
time.
thing about it too. They're
Um,
both like ceiling 5 or 6 win teams.
And both of them think they're better
But
than the
whoever
other.
wins,
I don't know.
whoever wins more,
I think-
whoever wins more games gets bragging rights. And do they
I
wait? Do they
think the
play in the regular
the
season this year?
saddest bragging rights.
The Giants could sneak to a 7-9.
Stop it right now. I'd
They
put
play-
so
they
much
play
money.
the Cowboys twice a
I'd
year.
put so much money with you that
No.
that would not happen.
They play
Okay.
the Cowboys twice a year. There's 2 wins right there.
For a second there, I thought they were
Shut
playing
up,
in the
Brendan
regular
Shorey.
season. That might be happening like next year. I think maybe. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but the Giants and Jets always play a preseason game against each other at MetLife
do.
because they share a home. But I can't really remember the last time they
Poverty.
played against each other in the regular season.
I don't.
And I felt like they were doing it this year, but they're not.
They just came up briefly. Let me briefly mention them because they didn't come up in the general NFL segment. But yeses or nos from both of you. In 2 months, will Micah Parsons be in a Cowboy jersey?
Yes.
In 2 months, is he still a Cowboy?
2 months.
Well, didn't he request a trade?
So did
That's
Myles Garrett.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
He's Micah Parsons is under contract for the next 3 years.
Oh, so then
They
no.
have no reason to
Jerry
trade
Jones.
him.
Jerry Jones has been he has been like a terrorist of an owner for Micah Parsons. Like in all intents and purposes, he's been terrorizing Micah Parsons.
Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel.
Like, and I'm not even like I can't even say I'm sorry to Jerry Jones because like I mean I'm a Giants fan. Why would I? But like,
Jerry Jones doesn't.
why? How
He
would you?
does not
He is
need
the
an
best
apology.
Our
defensive
Texan- our
player
resident
on the team.
Texan.
Micah Parsons is the best defensive player on the team and arguably one of, if not the best defensive player in football.
Our resident Texan. Why does
And
Micah
why are
Parsons
you
not wanna
not
play for Jerry
paying
Jones?
him?
Why does
You
Micah
should be
Par-
you should be sending people home to pay Micah Parsons. You shouldn't be like bickering with Micah Parsons over how much money he's
Are you
worth.
advocating for people to lose their job right now? It kind of sounds like you are. Kind of a shady move.
This is the thing. If like, say, if the Dallas Cowboys somehow got free of Jerry Jones, it would only make the Cowboys
Well, it'd just be
better, and it would
Steven.
make it a problem for the Giants. So, on one hand, I hope Jerry Jones stays and continues to actively shoot the Cowboys in the foot
the successor
every
is Stephen
year.
Jones, so nothing's going to change.
But on the other hand, I'm getting to a point where I'm almost feeling bad for Cowboys fans because Jerry Jones has been subjecting them to this nonsense for years. Dak Prescott is not going to take the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. He's not going to do it. It's not happening.
Tucker seems emotional about this. I just put in a text message. We might be getting someone on the line who's even more passionate about this. The resident Cowboy fan of WFUV Sports, Brendan Shorey. We'll see if he calls in. My wonderful
Brendan, if you're listening, I hope that you're free of the nightmare that is Jerry Jones one day.
Also,
we're in the he may never die.
Knowing we're in the Giants segment, my considerate mother also just texted me that during vacation 2 weeks ago, we also saw Brandon Jacobs by the pool, the former Giant running back.
This is the hard-hitting stuff.
And I'm gonna use that as a transition here. Looking at the running back room now for this Giant team, it seems since the first time since Bradshaw and Jacobs were really doing that dual back situation to a high degree with the Giants. It seems like now the Giants are returning to form in that way in the backfield, specifically with Scadaboo. I'm so high on Scadaboo. Obviously,
left practice early yesterday.
He did, but he'll be okay.
It's been a couple days.
You sure about that?
He's picked up.
It's not long term. Like I haven't heard anything that it'll be long term.
I heard he spiked his helmet on his way into the tent.
Oh, really?
Well, it's been
visibly frustrated.
I think it's
the
just
point I was going to also make is that the running back next to him is also a high class running back.
Absolutely, Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scadaboo in that backfield are going to be really good if they can both get healthy before week 1. It is going to be huge. Tracy taking first team reps with Scadaboo out. Scadaboo was taking first team reps.
Well, Singletary also got a decent chunk of first-team reps as well, and I don't know if that's just because Scottaboo got injured.
He spent the entire year on the team last year. I think that's all that needs to be said about Devin Singletary. He was on the team and was a non-factor.
Yeah, the thing about Devin Singletary is that I think he's an average NFL running back, and if Scadaboo can't play, and we haven't seen what Scadaboo can do. He's not the most explosive athlete, and hamstring injuries tend to take away a lot of explosiveness as well. So if this is, in any way serious, it could maybe
I think
be a rough start to Cam Scadaboo's career.
The hope in the Giants camp is that Tyrone Tracy will be. It's sort of I think they're looking for a Sonic and Knuckles type combination here, a la the Detroit Lions, where Tyrone Tracy is your wheels, because we saw in bits and pieces last year when he got loose up the middle. Kind of like Saquon Barkley used to do. He gets loose in the open field up the middle, and he's gone. He has wheels for days. Meanwhile, Scadaboo, not as explosive, but he's a pretty hard-nosed football player. That dude, he bangs bodies around, and he can get a couple of yards inside when you need it.
Yeah, so the running game has looked very good for the first week of camp. The flip side of that is that the run defense has looked quite poor.
As it was last year.
And Dexter Lawrence has not been practicing. He's still rehabbing an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll obviously, hopefully, help out a lot.
Once he's back in, ideally the run stops a little bit.
But the question then becomes, does the running game look so good because the run defense is so poor? Or is the run defense poor and the run game looks good? Or does the run defense look bad because the run game is so good?
And the same thing is happening with the quarterbacks and with the secondary, because the secondary could just be really good. It could just be Paulson Debo's back there now, and
love that guy.
Everybody's older, so everybody should theoretically take a step forward. I'm looking for Deonte Banks to have a big year, but the second, I don't know if
that. First of all, I don't know about that. He's not very good.
All right,
and also we have someone winning. We have someone on the board
on the line here to talk about Jerry Jones and the Micah Parsons situation.
To truly pivot this segment.
WFUV's very own Brendan Shorey. What do you got to add to this conversation?
Brendan, how are we, Brendan?
I'm doing all right, fellas. How we doing?
All right, Brendan. The floor is most definitely yours. We know you've had troubling.
I don't know if you were listening, Brendan, but I'll own up to this one. I took some pretty heinous shots at Jerry Jones for his handling of the Micah Parsons situation. But what are your thoughts?
From Dallas.
You know what? I'll back those shots actually. Here's the situation: is realistically the Cowboys have team control over Micah for the next 3 years. They have his player option this year and 2 franchise tags. So the ball is ultimately in Jerry's court. He got what he wanted. Everyone's talking about it. That's what I think. I think this is just a small hiccup. We've seen it recently with a bunch of other players, whether it's Miles Garrett or even like Terry McLaurin right now, these players are requesting trades just to try and speed up that process of getting paid. And I think that's actually what's going to happen. I think Jerry does make Micah the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL in the next couple of weeks. But Micah requesting a trade and him writing that whole message out in his notes app and then posting it on X, I think he's trying to outdo what Jerry likes to do, which is get everyone talking and becoming like a big kind of symbol. But ultimately, I do think that Micah will be getting paid in the next couple of weeks and in the range of $45 million a year.
And Brendan, you're calling us, I believe, from Dallas, from the source of this issue. Being around Dallas, I know you've been excited all offseason about the prospect of a Pickens-CeeDee Lamb duo that's had you excited, the edits on TikTok, things of that nature. But now, this sort of situation, specifically with this player, what's the temperature around Dallas? How do people feel about Micah and the Dallas Cowboys right now?
I think it's a lot of hate towards Jerry Jones right now. He's arguably now competing with Nico Harrison as the most hated GM in the Dallas area.
These guys can't catch a break, those Dallas GMs.
No.
Dallas fans cannot
Dallas
catch
fans.
a break. It's a roller coaster right now. You trade Luka away, you get the number one pick, you get Cooper Flagg, and now Jerry is having Micah request a trade.
The
and
Cowboys need a Cooper Flagg, Brendan. The Cowboys could definitely use a Cooper Flagg.
Anyone can use Cooper Flagg right now. Any Dallas sports team can.
Yes.
But it definitely is a roller coaster. There's a lot of hate towards Jerry right now, and I think there will be until he gets paid, and he is definitely in that conversation with Nico Harrison as the most hated man in Dallas.
He's even got CeeDee Lamb coming out and
him.
speaking out in favor of him.
Not just CeeDee, but I saw like a bunch of Cowboys players on X have actually been changing their profile picture to either pictures of them and Micah or just pictures of Micah.
Wow.
Saying, just trying to get tweeting out just Jerry pay him.
Taylor
pay the man
Swift-esque,
with
doesn't it?
Giants
it
O-line.
sound good for Brendan's football team. That doesn't sound
Giants
good at all.
O-lineman Jermaine Illuminor posted on his Twitter as well.
No.
He said, "Attaboy, Micah, go get paid in the AFC."
Yeah. He's like, I was about to say he wants to get him out of the division.
He does not want to face him.
and Brendan, I don't want to take up too much of your time. And you could say obviously whatever you got on your chest because this is a very tumultuous situation. But what's the timetable just broadly on Jerry? Do we think that he's going to continue to stay in power for a long time? Is it eventually going to be a forcible takeover? When is the Dallas community going to finally be fed up with Jerry? We understand the championships, the Super Bowls, but when is enough enough?
I think the Dallas community was fed up with Jerry 15 years ago.
Good answer.
But it's going to be hard to get him out of there because you have him, and he will not take a step down until he passes. But then once he does, his son Stephen Jones, the CEO of the Cowboys, will take over. And there are slight differences between the two. I mean, you look back at kind of their tenure, and there have been times when, say, like, Jerry wanted to take Johnny Manziel in his draft, but Stephen Jones convinced him to take Zach Martin. There have been a few instances like that, but for the most part, they are very similar people with very similar outlooks on this team, and we've seen even this offseason, Stephen Jones has said a lot of things backing Jerry in the waiting to pay Micah Parsons' department.
Yeah,
so it's definitely going to be a minute.
Yes, 100%. And it just seems like those Super Bowls just feel like they feel longer and longer. They feel farther and farther away with just all this hoopla.
Well, there's a reason Scotty Scheffler said he'd give up a major for a Cowboys Super Bowl. Because it's been so long.
Brendan, what a quote that was, by the way. What a quote.
I would 100% agree with Scotty.
You concur.
I mean, he has enough matches where he can get one up.
I was about to say, Max Homa, I don't know, would be saying the same thing. No offense. I love Max. No offense.
No, I love that from Scotty, though. Even though he went to my rival high school, I love hearing that for the Dallas area.
Don't get our host started on Texas high school.
We don't need to talk about Texas high schools. We did that pre-show.
Hey, where's this best Texas football?
Houston.
Got it.
Come on, everybody knows that.
Brendan, you agree?
Austin.
Got it.
I'm not even from Austin.
Austin's got two teams. They got Westlake and South Lake.
I had to antagonize. I could not with the two of you here. I could not do it.
Houston is, Westfield, North Shore, just dogs. The Woodlands, even complete dogs. Oh, we don't need to talk about.
Anyway,
we don't need to talk about Texas high school football. No one in this area cares about that. To be honest with you. Thank you, Brendan.
we do care about you, Brendan. Thank you so much.
We do very much.
Thanks
care
so
about
much,
you, Brendan.
Shori.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Brendan, have a good one. We're gonna pivot a little bit, real quick, just to the Jets.
Sorry, guys, I completely lost audio and like halfway through that phone call, and I had to plug into a different port. But we're back.
We're gonna pivot to the Jets real quick. Just give you a little
talk
update
about
on
those Jets.
Just a little update on what's going on over there. Justin Fields is, I think this may have been actually what you were referring to a little bit earlier. People are saying that Tyrod Taylor is significantly outperforming Justin Fields.
Exactly what I was
despite the fact that Justin Fields, when he was acquired, was given the job and assured that he was the starter. So it's not a quarterback competition, but you never want to see the guy who you brought in, who had really never proven himself to be an NFL quality starter. You name him the starter, and then he is significantly outperformed by career journeyman Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, and really the reports coming out of Jets camp here are not that Justin Fields is like just playing bad outright. It's really that he's just taken a little bit more time than they expected to get with the system and kind of learn the Jets playbook and stuff.
He had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, and they built the offense for him. They didn't build it for Tyrod Taylor. The only problem is Tyrod Taylor is just he's a veteran
certified
in the NFL
dog.
now, and he's a good passer. You know, he's just a good passer in general, and being on the field with Justin Fields, trying to learn a new system that the Jets built specifically for him, like with all the pressure that comes with that, especially with Jets fans having just experienced Aaron Rodgers, there's pressure on Justin Fields in New York to perform, and when he goes out there, he's not familiar with the system yet. He's still learning it, but Tyrod Taylor, who's been in the NFL forever, can pick it up like that pretty much and just kind of go through the motions. Tyrod Taylor is still not the guy. Justin Fields is absolutely the guy.
Fantastic backup though, Tyrod.
And yes, absolutely. He spent some time with the Giants.
When they don't puncture his lung.
I was so
Jesus Christ. What was that?
I was
Shout out Justin
so
Herbert again.
My dad did that game.
Between that and then when he got the concussion too as a Giant, I was just I was really beat up over that.
Speaking of Tyrod Taylor, does anyone remember when he was with the Bills when he first came up?
Yeah.
And that he was the backup to E.J. Manuel?
Well, wasn't it Fitzmagic too?
Oh, no, Fitzmagic then was with the Texans, I believe.
Oh,
no. And eventually Tyrod started, he was starting games.
Yeah, so him and E.J. Manuel were like basically a two-quarterback system. I just remember that, needed to get that off my chest. Cause,
absolutely.
Well, E.J. Manuel, I mean, he was like Nathan Peterman-esque level. Like, they were terrible. Also played for the Bills, actually. I'm sorry.
This
Bills
sounds like a
fans.
conversation for a segment we're going to have later as well.
Yeah,
just the opposite.
But a couple other points from Jets camp in addition to Justin Fields. Rookie receiver Arian Smith from Georgia has kind of stepped into that role as the number 2. They were looking at him as maybe like a number 4 slot receiver guy, but he's there goes my mic. Sorry if that was loud. My mic fell.
Yeah, I could take it for a few seconds.
No.
Let
me just finish my point here. So, Arian Smith is kind of, I don't know what's going on, but
keep talking. I got it.
Arian Smith is kind of stepped into that role. He was looking as maybe number 4, but he's really formed a great connection with Justin Fields.
It just screws in up there, Chris.
And you know, it's if the Jets have a solid 1-2 punch at receiver, it'll really help Justin Fields out as he gets settled in. I'm sure this looks incredible on camera. Tucker, you want to maybe take something?
This is this is some funny stuff right here. I mean,
go on,
never have I seen the like in the studio. However,
it doesn't even come off on the screw.
No, yeah, that is just really odd. But
all right.
Yeah, the Jets. I mean, it looks like they got a number 2
Yeah.
possibly on the way. That could be good for that offense, especially because now Aaron Rodgers brought all his friends, and then all his friends left with him, or most of his friends at least.
Lazard's still there.
Yeah.
And what, Josh?
So maybe he's not Aaron Rodgers' real friend because he left him high and dry in New York.
Yeah, that sucks.
But
all the ones
either way,
that stayed loyal, they definitely were successful. Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb.
But the
loyalty
Jets,
to Aaron Rodgers is really important, guys.
The Jets also do have an injury that bears mentioning. Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quinnen Williams will miss 1 to 2 weeks out of the preseason with a left calf strain. So we're going to have to spend some time without him. I'm sure he wasn't going to play in any games. I think there's preseason games next week.
Next week.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but
I
doubt he would have actually
I doubt
played.
he plays in the preseason anyways.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably just give him until week 1.
It'll just be maybe a little bit slower. You might see him a little bit less in week 1.
But let's not discount the value of the preseason though. I know a lot of people are like, the preseason doesn't matter. It's only like non-starters who play, and none of the games matter, and people can only get hurt. Whatever. Like no, the preseason is important.
I was kind of with you on all the stuff you were saying.
No. The preseason is important. If you went straight into the regular season with only practice and didn't play any scrimmages and games,
there's a necessary canon buff period.
There would be a lot more rust that has to come off within the first couple weeks.
I think one preseason game maybe would work as well.
Like
there have been 1 or 2. Yeah.
There have been arguments made to. I think there have been arguments made to expand and to contract more often than not to contract or to just get rid of it.
Sure
I think the prevailing
sentiment,
more
preseason games. I'm sure it doesn't just make them more money. I'm sure we need more.
The prevailing sentiment I think is to go down to 2 and then make the NFL season 18, so you play the same amount of games.
Yeah,
that's what Roger wants.
I like 2 preseason
Raj.
games.
That seems perfect. That seems first name basis. Your boy.
Although 3 games like the argument now becomes between 2 and 3 games. Like, do you want to see one more team during the preseason? I don't know, from like a weird division, maybe a division that you're playing a lot this year. You want to see somebody that you don't have on the schedule that plays in that division. I don't know, like thinking like if the Giants wanted to play somebody against the AFC West or somebody in the AFC West because they're playing 3 teams from the West or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Just one more note from Jets preseason before we move into this break here is starting guard John Simpson is also injured for a little bit of time. But the offensive line for the Jets has actually looked pretty decent. Olufushanu has kind of cemented himself as that left tackle who was the rookie last year, first-round pick. But as Chris mentioned earlier, for the Giants, neither of these teams look like they're going to have the most promising season, but it does look like maybe there are some promising pieces that, if all the stars aligned, a potential 500 season is maybe on the cards potentially. No, okay.
It's a lot of games to win. They're not going to win.
That is a lot of games, but we're gonna head to break where you will hear a little bit of production from our very own Bobby Chaffardini doing an Indy in 60, which is just an absolute treat. So you'll hear that on this break, and then on the other side of that, we get what everyone has been waiting for, our very own Mount Rushmore of one-season wonders. But right now, you've got an Indy in 60 from Bobby Chaffardini.
Indy in 60. Alex Palou does it again in IndyCar, his 8th win of the season after topping the field last weekend at Laguna Seca. He now leads Pato O'Ward by 121 points and nearly everyone else by 200 or more. Palou is also 2 away from the all-time record for wins in an IndyCar season. Despite the dominance, he says the job isn't done just yet.
And we've seen that in the past as well. So, yeah, honestly, it's I would not trade our points for anybody. I would not trade our position, and I would not ask for anything more or anything less. But yeah, it's not done until it's done. We still need to win it. We still need to keep on our heads down and try and win more races. So yeah, I don't mind hearing the 10 races one. Like it seems that it's a lot of work to make it, but I don't mind hearing that. Like whenever you hear that you are in a chance of making something that it's so historical and so tough to do, it motivates us.
Up next, Portland next weekend.
Picture this.
Welcome back. We have a much anticipated segment here. We're going to do a little bit of Mount Rushmore snake draft style. The topic for today is one-season wonders. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care how you classify a one-season wonder. We're just gonna go snake draft. We'll start with Chris,
and we're gonna react as we go. Where if it's a bad pick, we're gonna be like, go again.
This will be our first times hearing each other's picks as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with Chris. we're gonna go Tucker, and then we're gonna go to myself. We'll snake draft it.
Okay.
But Chris, go ahead and start us off. Who is your
1-1
one-season wonder, greatest one-season wonder of all time?
Well, I don't know if it's my 1-1, but I'm gonna go my weirdest. I'm gonna go my most debated first.
Okay.
So most I don't know if this is concrete.
Yeah.
But to me, I'll give a good enough explanation. So my first, the 2013-2014 Sean Livingston Brooklyn Nets season. Okay, guys?
Ooh.
So this is one that never gets talked about. You never hear about this one. So we know that his best years, or, from a statistical perspective, maybe his best year was 2016. He won the Sixth Man of the Year. Or he has a really great season, actually, in the 2000s at some point, whether he's in Charlotte or Milwaukee. I'm not sure. But there's multiple seasons where he had years as good as this one, is what I'm trying to say. But the reason why I picked this one is Sean Livingston was a role player, a journeyman role player from all the way of the time of his injury in 2006, all the way until 2013. He's on Cleveland, Charlotte, Milwaukee, Washington, Oklahoma City, all Miami, 6 teams in that 6 years. He then makes it to Brooklyn, immediately slides in with a Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Darren Williams, Brook Lopez core, and makes a impact in only the way he can. He found his lane in only the way Sean Livingston can. It's mid-range shots. It's getting to the basket. It's producing for that second unit. He was so important for that net team that year. The Nets then don't have enough money to re-sign him. He gets signed by Golden State, and that is, for all intents and purposes, where he makes his entire resume, his entire his what he's known for then proceeds after that. But for me, the one-season wonder is that Brooklyn season, one, because it doesn't get talked about very often. It was so important to his career. It laid the groundwork for what then became one of the most successful role player ladder careers of all time, and that is my first Mount Rushmore. Sean Livingston, 2014.
Honestly, looking at the stats while you were talking, I'm pretty okay with this one.
I did
8-3-3, but in the context of that,
in the context, I'm fine. The only thing I would say is that I think he had better years down the line.
Right.
Not necessarily statistically, but I think he had better years down the line.
It was more a year I was just interested.
Yeah. So
I think that's where we're at too. That's why it's like one-season wonders. Not in the fact that they were they showed up for 1 year and that was the only year that they were legitimate, and that could be some of them. But it's also 1 year that kind of stood out from the rest for a specific guy's career. That'll play into somebody if I pick them later. But my first over, I guess it's 1-2, or it's 1-2. But my first overall one-season wonder Mount Rushmore, 2011-2012, Linsanity, Jeremy Lin on the New York Knicks.
I know I interrupt a lot. I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Jeremy Lin game. The first game where he comes in against the Nets, wins them the game, and Linsanity starts. I was there. I remember watching him go to the scores table and being like, I was so into basketball at the time. I was like, if I don't recognize that guy must really not be great. And then checks in and just gives us the business in the fourth quarter, and then the rest was seemingly history after that.
Yeah,
go on.
I don't even think I have to explain, to be honest.
It's one of those
it's
Linsanity.
New York Knicks fans know that's it's my easy one.
Yeah, so I mean... All right, Chris, you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Here's my asterisk.
I know it's an astro, yeah.
Here's my asterisk. It is...
Show the camera.
It's 2017.
Show the whole list.
It's 2017 Marwin Gonzalez. I have an asterisk on the computer. I don't know if you can see
get a
this.
look, Joe Henry. Make sure we get
so
that.
you can see that. I don't know if you want to zoom in.
Make sure we get that.
Just so you can see that.
Go on.
It
wanted your tail between your legs before you say this. Go on.
He's a guy who I think was snubbed from the... With the context of no one knew they were cheating at the time.
Barrett, how about this? Just to make you happy, Barrett, right now, let's just act like they never cheated.
No, we're not
going
to
like
do
they
that,
act like they never... No, because then it'll delegitimize Gonzalez. Just talk about the season as if it's legitimate.
Okay.
As if.
He's a guy...
Obviously, it's not.
He's a guy who had been... He came up as a shortstop, had played a lot of third base, shortstop. The next year, he started playing... He played first... He had played a lot of first base. this was a year where the Astros were struggling for an outfield depth. So they said, hey, we've got this utility infielder. Let's stick him out there. He's had an okay career, right? They stick him out in left field, and he proceeds to go for a 146 OPS plus, 4 WAR, and an OPS of over 900 with 57 extra base hits. As a left fielder, 90 RBIs. In my opinion, was snubbed of an all-star. I really think he should have been an all-star, and he's a guy who, eventually then went to the Yankees and is one of the worst Yankees players of all time. He sucked. And, just purely based one-season wonder, it's a guy who was a very mediocre utility infielder, played one season in the outfield, and was borderline all-star. I think that sums up one-season wonder about as well as it gets.
It's perfect. I love that.
And it feels like
his whole career is really mid, and then got MVP votes in 2017.
And it feels like those kind of guys are vital to a lot of those championship runs. Just those kind of utility guys that they'll get you big hits. I'm gonna go to a different sport.
Whoa, snake.
Oh, snake.
It is my pick again.
My mistake. I didn't hear that.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna stay in the same sport. It's
Ooh.
another guy who has had some decent seasons. It's 2013 Anibal Sanchez with the Tigers.
Okay.
He had a 2.57 ERA. Started 29 games.
Can I ask what made you think of him?
Watching those Tiger teams, because it was Verlander, Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez. I believe David Price was on those teams as well.
Wow.
But 180 innings, 200 strikeouts, a 2.57 ERA, 14 wins, and 6 WAR. I mean, he's was obviously not the top name guy, because it was Scherzer and Verlander, and then David Price after. But 2013 Anibal Sanchez was, I believe he received Cy Young votes. A couple years later, he was an All-Star this year, but a couple years later he had another All-Star season. But this one is just head and shoulders above that, in which he was probably a top 5 pitcher in baseball this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another good one. That's why I asked where that came about. Cause
that's one that's always just floated in my
pull.
mind as because I believe he went to the Blue Jays after, maybe in 2015 or 2016, and he was not good. I may be mixing him up with Aaron Sanchez, who was really good in 2016 for the Blue Jays, but I believe both of them were on that team. But 2013 Anibal Sanchez is my second pick. I believe it's Tucker.
Yeah, it's gonna be me for the second one. For this one, I'm going with a pick that's gonna be a little bit, I guess, a little bit more personal. It's not as much of like I think it's like the best one ever, but second pick's gonna be 2022 Matt Carpenter on the New York Yankees.
It was expected.
That was, I mean, yeah. How could it not be? First of all, and this is also like one of the first times I get to formally show love to Matt Carpenter for the time that he gave the Yankees in 2022. Just an absolutely ridiculous turnaround. He had negative 1.1 WAR in 2021 for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
So the Yankees pick him up. They're not expecting anything out of Matt Carpenter. But they wound up getting a 305 average on the year in 154 plate appearances, 37 ribbies, 15 home runs out of a 36-year-old veteran. So Matt Carpenter, 2022.
Matt Carpenter, 1,000%. We don't have a lot of time. I'm just going to give my other three quickly. Brady Manick, North Carolina, spent time in Oklahoma with the Sooners. Never fully got on the big stage until he was a Tar Heel. Fantastic in that season.
One.
Yeah. And then also Daniel Murphy, not 2015, the year with the Mets, the year after that with the Nationals. Yeah. He was absolutely fantastic. He absolutely raked. He had, wait, let me just find his WAR. I can't find his WAR. His WAR was ridiculous. He had like a 6 WAR that year.
He
was
led the
insane.
league in batting average as well, I believe.
Yes. And, okay, my last one. This is a two-parter. First, to appease me and Griffin, Thomas Rawls' 2021 season, averaged 75 carries a game, over 6 yards a carry. Ridiculous. He was absolutely fantastic. Never had a season like that aside from that one. And then a bonus one. My fifth guy on the Mount Rushmore just to troll. Saquon Barkley 2024.
Awesome.
He will never have a season that good. 125 yards a game. He had 2,000 yards. Never has had more than 1,300 in a season. That, my friends, is a one-year wonder. Thank you very much. Go on.
Tucker, give us your two real quick.
All right, so my other two are going to be 2017-2018 Taylor Hall, who won the Hart Trophy for the New Jersey Devils. He was an All-Star the year before, and he made All-Star that year as well, but
They
it was
got
a huge
traded.
breakout year. Got traded, but he did win the Hart, so that was awesome. Last pick is going to be quick pick here, 1998 Marco Mira from the PGA Tour. This is my big out to left field. Marco Mira literally
We're
was
good. I don't think we got enough time, but we'll take it.
Yeah, all right,
And
fair enough.
mine
Marco
were
Mira.
2018 Victor Oladipo and 2019 Joe Burrow when he won the Heisman. But that will probably wrap up everything we've got today. I'm Barrett Spritzer, joined with Chris Carrino and Tucker Austin. On the board was Griffin Stevenson, and on your graphics was Joe Henry. This has been One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show here on 90.7 WFUV Sports.